前经过那个奖杯的时候那种心态、心理的变化会再一次的更加强烈的波动在每一个选手的心里面，因为所有的东西都命悬一线，尤其对于 RA 来说。
So the VCT
3幕进化比赛里面2次亚军1次季军，从来没有跌出过前3。在下半年，他们应该说是除了 EDG 以外成绩最稳定的那支队伍了。没错，但是他们现在站在了悬崖的边上。
对他们打过太多决赛了，而且决赛当中，就像维瓦赛前采访所说的，他们总是一步之遥距离这个冠军。而今天考验他们最终毅力的时刻到了，他们必须要在接下来连拿3张地图的胜利，才能最后逆转取胜。而 DRG 真的会给他们这样的机会吗？我觉得 DRG 现在的整个团队的士气应该是非常高涨的。
我觉得对 DRG 来说，大家真的非常难以想象，这5名选手在时隔了就不到24个小时里面，上一个 BO5 是打满和 ASE， 打好差不多5个小时的一个市场，然后立刻在24个小时之后又要来打一个重新的 BO5。
Hey Megabyte.
他们的是以逸待劳。
Sorry about the lateness. I just slept in a bit and got up a bit later than I wanted.
今天 DRG 的打法来说 ，RA 肯定是有一些自己的预期，对。但是今天 DRG 做出了一些非常多的改变，我觉得这个是让。
As you can probably tell with how bunged up I sound because I've just woken up. But we got a real series on our hands. But just really surprising that this map went this way at least.
那现在顶着巨大压力的 RA 要迎接他们的第2张自选图莲华古城。这张地图整体而言 ，RA 的优势其实还是比较大的。
What's the map order? Lotus Bind Sunset.
在最近的3个月的时间内有67%的胜率，而他们的对手。
I mean, if it gets to the last map, I think the rare item should have it. But for Lotus for both of these teams, are you still sick? No, it's just because I'm woken up. I'm a bit like bunged up. So for Ascension, they played it once, so they beat Keep Best, but they just beat Keep Best. I can't understand what they're saying. Well, I mean, it is in Chinese, so DRG 0 and 3 lost to Attack and Cell twice. Comps, I think, are just the usual stuff, right? Fade, yep. Both running phonetic comps.
但是比赛就是这个样子，在场上发生的一切，只有交给场上的选手才能决出。而现在 DRG 已经拿出了他们最好的状态，在前一两场比赛里。
说回到选手阶段，我觉得他们的有2名选手，一个是
Yeah,
今天在2张地图的发挥是稳定且高效，是给到他机会，他全部把握住了，并且他在没有就是很被动的情况下，他还可以主动去创造一些。
Mute this and then see if this chat. Hello, Rishi. Got YouTube chat open now, so I see you all. Wait, I thought I muted. No man. Oh, it opened another tab. Okay. Just made a cup of, well, I boiled the kettle, so let me just go get my cup of tea.
我们来到莲华古城，来看一下两边的阵容都是双烟黑梦的选择。除了主烟以外啊，是完全镜像。
来到了2个队伍都用雷兹的一个阶段啊，单决斗雷兹，但是唯一的区别就是，其实可以看到 RA 的阵容可能控场位对于或者一些定点的一些控制技能会相对来说多一点，而右边 DRG 的阵容组会更加的灵活。
对，另外就是其实幽影在这个图我觉得最强势的点，对比星队啊，还是 A 大可以挂单向营。这一点，然后以及他可以剑影上这个 A 大碎石堆，就在空 A 大上面，幽影是几乎是无条件的强，尤其是那种一个人留守的时候。那星队可能适合上来打技能 combo，
对，但是技能 combo 有一个非常致命的问题，就是你非常依赖于这个时间节点，
它很贵，你用完就没了。
好，那这样的话 ，RA 对阵 DRG 的第3张地图莲华古城已经开始，进攻方 DRG 开局是选择先给了 C 区很大的压力啊。
这张地图我觉得对于 RA 来说，心态就当是一场正常的训练赛。
Ratum loves Astra.
是的，哦 ，C 区旋转门应该是转了一下。
从两边的阵容上来说，这张图应该都是。
Yeah, Yihao does for sure. I mean, DRG are playing it, but with the Omen. They both find the opening kills on B. And DRG just defaulting everywhere. Snaplight's great, actually, for vulnerability. Viva somehow is still alive.
找到了机会配合踩雷飞剑直接锁死了这一分。
那爆能器掉在了 C 点，在对方的一个掌控区域之内，甚至我们
And then they have Spike. This is good, like, flank control. Youngman's just in spawn. Wins the fight anyway.
对长板头。好，那这样的话，手枪局是由 RA 是率先拿下第1分，并且这张地图现在有很多队伍愿意去开局，尤其是进攻方打 C 的原因是因为 A 点有太多的不。
I wonder what has been going wrong for Atom for this to end up this way.
是如何的，就很难去预料，一锤子买卖。对，但是 C 区大部分情况下都是进攻方。
I mean, I watched
大的优势。
the latter half of Ascent. And it was just kind of like Jekyll and Hyde with some of the rounds.
2把海里，1把飞将和1把獠犬。
哦，可以看到1号。
But I also think that DRG just played amazingly, really.
一个横向的，并且这就是所说的技能 combo。
I had some really like good ideas for rounds.
暗手在 A 大
有反馈，知道对视区已经上人了，尤曼赶快退到 AB 连，
拉开距离，不想掉枪给你。
数位这把枪远距离就是这样的优势。
只要不掉枪，我觉得对于 DRG 来说，对于 RA 来说这一分一切都好说。
并且注意 RA 是全员都起了枪的哦。
尽量不掉。
对，没有任何一个人是留了经济。
Zeno 应该是被混了一枪。
Good morning, Nips. DRG surprised me in the last few days. Yeah, they've really like come into their own.
双拉 ，OK，绿克的补枪完成的不错。宝能器可以看 B 大这个摊面，盘打一个比较中路，布卡数利用队友在 AB Link 做的动静抓到。
I haven't won many pistols.
还给了一步枪
Okay.
一个惊喜翻腾，让 Stu 第一时间是有点出不去，并且防守方的技能好像已经几乎交完了。
This is really awkward now for Atom to like pull this back.
然后 A 点外面也可能会有机会。
Oh, the timing. He still wins it anyway because Digway just as a sheriff.
一滴血的 Zeno 正面的对枪，陆克又收一个。
Luke has been very good today.
卡数在 B 点外面，布卡数被一发带走，那这个伏笔消除，这一分很难守。
那最后排除法也知道最后一个人的位置了，
关键是没血。
All right, maybe DRG are going to be a bit like, oh, it sucks that we lost that, but that's a fantastic eco.
RA 有惊无险吧，
非常险。掉了3把枪，掉了3个人，而且是让对面安了暴动器提了款的。
其实落位上来说，进攻方 DRG 其实优势还是蛮大的。就定位这个位置其实是抓了一个背身，
可惜的是定位确实这枪正义没有抓到这个机会。有一枪的机会。对。
2比0的开局，而是防守方 RA 取得了一个。
Yeah, look at that bonus. It's pretty much non-existent for Atom.
这个终极技能进度其实要比预期当中的更快一些哦，他现在就差2个点了。
击杀有入账，对吧？然后又有接其他的点数。主要这分 RA 的枪太烂了，就2把。
哎 ，RA 4人 A 点直接前压了，
就是反正枪不好，赌一波点。先看 A 大会不会碰上，碰上是最好的，因为我的火力都集中在这边。
Good morning, Blinded. So there was 4 towards A that were just looking to see and fight that early, but they get nothing, so they rotate off. At least Stu does. Door gets opened, wall goes up because of it. Put up the wall, and the one way is just going to drain this super fast. So good kind of pressure put in from DRG to even put the alarm bot outside the C just in case somebody checks it, but I don't think they will.
那 B 点是没去的，现在是派博卡数过去架一会儿，然后4人走 A。
有鬼眼秒打，
但已经是3人防 A 了，这个脚步声进攻方有听到吗？
等一下，这个舌吻趟着过。
Luke just walks through it. Really well played from Viva.
现在这回合也交不了了。
这波其实是有点怪的，他不想。
You got the alarm bot that's sort of deep in on C. You've got the turret that's just watching B if they come out of here. Secret's been broken so they can rotate super fast.
踩了个易损，远距离的对枪枪械劣势被甚至是直接抹回了。Stu 踩雷飞剑已经随时300，等声音就直接丢。第一波进点只能是有位移。
No flashes on this comp, so it's just kind of like depending on the haunt. Your man gets one, he gets tagged by the ult, the haunt, and then gets traded. Was it a satchel that stopped him there for the first time?
但现在DRG 不太有时间去落位，现在他们好像被包夹了，
而且人数是个劣势。
唯一在他们掌控区域内的就是典礼。AB 连的位置已经在
第一个没顶好 ，Zeno 已经很烈了，但博卡数顶住了 AB Link。AB Link 还有另外一个人不知道啊，在暗处 AB Link 出击，1号打了一个，1号被补掉。博卡数已经博卡数。
All right, really nice bonus.
被击杀，那这样的话 RA 是完成回防，把人数的。
Yeah, Luke just gets caught trying to push this. I guess from where the snake bite came from, he assumed that they were further back, so it's like, oh, I could just walk up. What are we watching? This is the grand finals of China Ascension. Whoever wins this will be playing in the league for China for the next 2 years. Yeah, Rablanga, like, Rabianga, I watched a little bit of Sliggy stream this morning because I got up late, and I was like, I'll stream map 3 when it starts. Why is DRG winning? Yeah, DRG is doing a gentlemates, yeah. I mean, the first map, Rare Atom picked split and they lost 13-7, which I imagine was like good anti-strat from DRG. And then the last map was 14-12, so it was very close. But it is also like Stu is still playing amazingly, but he's getting no help. But they're playing a lot better now. I think what it literally has been is Rare Atom pick and split as the first map feels super obvious. So this was like anti-stratted a bit more. Then it was the pick of DRG, and they picked Ascent, and that was just a close map between all of them. Now this is where it should get a little bit like... This, I think, is going to be a really strong map for Rare Atom, but we'll see. Bind, I'm a little bit worried about for Rare Atom. And then Sunset, if it gets that far, I'm very worried about DRG. This is the third map. Yeah, we missed the first 2 games. Insert LeBron no help meme. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Yeah, it's not a bug. It's definitely some games happened. So this lurk has been happening like a little bit for DRG, but it's not really been finding all that much. This time, though, you don't have anybody watching CT, so Yeehaw needs to be really careful because nobody's expecting this. No, they're definitely not, but Zito wasn't expecting somebody to be heaven either. He almost had him then. Stu's watching it. I mean, Stu has to do everything, it feels, at the moment. He's like, I'll deal with the lurk. You guys just hold on to the site. Nobody's looking at the site right now, so that's kind of nerve-wracking. Beaver at least trades out Martin, who was more worried about C. I don't know. There's no time anyway, but none of that is necessary. Like, even Stu knows, like, the money is alright, but it's just not really that worth. It shouldn't be... It really should be, like, not close the other way around. That's what makes it super surprising. Oh, they are fighting against Vukashu, to be fair. Yeah, we can... I'll show you on screen. Whilst we're in a timeout. Let's go for the last 2 maps. 13-7, so what was this? 7-5 on the attacking side for DRG. And then their defensive side against the double duelist was just a little bit too strong. They were running double initiator with a Cypher too, so... Yeah, that kind of stuff is really good at shutting down double duelist, especially some of the stuff that Rare Atom like to do. And then Ascent, very close, 6-all at the half. 14-12. Stu was doing well, Vivo was doing well, but everybody else pretty quiet. Really bad, like KD here, -11. 20 assists though, is kind of crazy. And then like Dingwei's been playing well. I think what's also really surprising with how DRG are doing this is they have 2 new players with them. Because they lost Maisie. And they lost Shion. I don't know if they were just dropped or whether they were picked up by other partnership teams. So it's the fact that DRG are doing this well whilst also making roster moves. It's just got the up as well. It's a nice defensive default because there's so little that you can do to fight this, it feels, especially when you have the Viper over here. But I think if you have the Viper over on A, it should mean that C's a lot easier to take. Because they're not going to have the Poison Cloud to block this. They have the Astra, so that's why they can get away with doing that kind of style, but I think that this should be a lot easier to take for DRG. Also, with the turret not being on this box, the alarm bot being a lot more passive, you could probably at least try and like lurk somebody up here. That ran because they're on eco, it was a little bit slow. Like Stu was on the site before DRG were, and he was on A initially. He gets a kill on B, A, and then C. And they're up against the team that doesn't have like a proper like flash. Probably can get away with a lot. Now we're at have changed it up to have the Viper back on C with the operator. So I think they realized as well, okay, like we have been playing a lot more aggressively on A. Timeout might be to say fight for C more. So not only are we going to have the Viper and Killjoy over here, but we're going to put the op here too. Great read from Rare Atom. Oh, he actually did get caught by the very close to mucking that up. Nice from Luke. Stu is 15-1. Still haven't planted yet. Viper's Pit is kind of hard to deal with, especially with that showstopper being used already. Stu gets another one. Zito is 18 HP. Yeehaw does spot him. And yeah, Vukashi just tries to spray for a couple. So an updated map command? Not at the moment. And that's 3 ultimates used from DRG though, and they got nothing with it as well. But they have to, well, do a smaller buy because they need to get rounds. They can't just keep ecoing buying, ecoing buying. Almost. It did hit him there. Did actually leg him. I think more likely wallbanged him through rubble. But he did get him. So Luke is half HP. And Stu is 22 HP. Oh, timing. Oh, come on, yo, man. That's a dumb place to ult from, regardless. Yeah, it seems it.
是把定位收掉了。
但外面还有一个 A 大，外面还有一个人啊，马丁
A 大的人帮不了点内的队友啊。
Luke 这波是没有能够抓住这个机会，
他只能确定对方没有人在绕后，但是点内的兄弟们怎么办？
枪很烂，这一分在点里面很难扛，抓侧身，抓到啊，但是
Good trade from Viva.
几乎打进了一梭子，最后点外最后
Nicely done. Yeah.
马丁是一个人
I mean, it worked out in the end.
外面对，现在这个情况就来到了 DRG 非常非常艰难的一个时间节点，就是他们没有办法。
All right, the replay sound is coming through.
但他们付出的代价非常惨痛。
We are so back. I mean, yeah, it's a hell of a response to be 8-0 up at this point.
开始下一张图了，所以这张图现在已经
But the only thing that I could think of with your man playing that
这张图已经
is with that wall, you just maybe assumed it was his own teams for a second.
光类的强控
对，就是
制。
你要就是要慢打，你一波
He played it in a way that was like nobody's going to peek through this wall.
比较慢，但是慢对方有一个非常夸张的不停换位置的民居。
这变成了一个死结。
But lo and behold, that's what they do.
都走不通。
关键交终极技能的 all in 也起到了一个就非常差的效果，很不理想。
两个星体直接强行跳过来。我看到1号甚至都没有尝试去在 A 点去打这种重力井的配合，他直接就放你过来。
重力井这种只能打出其不意。
这么回复在 C 点展开，那这样的话我知道蝰蛇在 C 直接来
Paranoia actually hits Luke. His teammate's Paranoia.
点后知道有一个黑梦，幽曼的常规位置。
They know that your man's on site. Good peek. Still gets traded anyway. Yihao's in a good spot to fight that.
好，能加一个
Good trade again. 3v3. Showstopper for Luke.
有全面封锁，这一分如果 RA
但有
够稳的
晚焰火
话，可以去摊一下。
，Luke 要不要试？他得转一下脚。
Your is watching it, surely.
拉伸刚才其实是一个非常
I can't get it.
体现的
I mean, smart from Luke to not peek any more than that.
我们知道雷斯的技能现在对技能已经没有加成的伤害了，但是架不住人家是个大招啊。是的。
Good fight from Vukashu.
终于
Really is like 50-50 on who wins that.
优势，但现在也就是个
Mine finds a good timing. Vukashu's actually going to go for a massive flank around.
开始选了一个最远的绕后路线。
但是水下
So they know that the guys, it's not planted for him anymore. Like Vukashu might have
他可以穿，但他
botched this. Yeah, it's not planted default either.
哇，这样的一个爆能器安装位置成为了伏笔。沃卡楚
Just a bit of a miscommunication, I think, for DRG.
有内枪擦着
Vukashu tries some and it doesn't really work.
Still 不讲道理的一枪。
这个机场拿下之后也是长出一口气。
我内枪局有没有直接决定这一分的胜负？决胜的一枪
点。力的人拖的时间太短了，最后沃卡楚甚至只能大脚步来。哇，这一枪穿射头皮。
这枪打绿可是真的杀死这一分了，而且我觉得某种程度上也有杀死这一盘，因为这一分打完之后又没
又
钱
0了。虽然现在 DRG 的这个连败补偿已经是完全拉满很久了，但是他们还是不能转化为分数。隔点烟，但是现在还是这个问题。DRG 他抢 A 大，对方是让的，但他怎么把就是自己的位置比较安全的去过渡到点里，是一个非常重要的问题。这个
抓一
点
号，想抓一号，一号被黑了。
I mean, what was that shot? Was it the one where he was on heaven and he gets to play a
是没推的。
对，他是按
drop?
扣的一个致盲效果。
Hey, Ryans. How's it going? Really interesting series so far. DRG are on series point, but they're losing 9-0 here.
现在要看 AB Link 外面的人，也就是 Zeno，
但是田里的这个位置好像有点接不住啊。
对面仗着枪好就硬来啊。沃卡树终于是找到了一个不错的机会，把人数又掰成了一个可以打的局面，但也是劣一人，而且沃卡树四面漏风，就到处都是人。
哦，还有一个暗收来完全锁定 Zeno 的位置，短炮齐
I mean, yeah, this has been very, very good.
而且这个回合还是那个问题，就是 DRG 虽然他能进到点里，但进点之后他们没有时间再去调整位置了。
而且代价也很高，就很难以一个优势或者至少是军事的一个情况保持住人数。
假设一个队伍有10个技能
As soon as I got here, it's been all roar at him.
来掩护下包，但最后守对手的回防，那就是对方7到8个技能打你2到3个技能，就是这个技能差和位置差是非常让 DRG 没有办法接受的。
Vukashu's been getting a lot of kills.
DRG 变成了哪里人多点哪里，就是消防队，就我不停的去救。
What's your guess on power rankings in the EMEA for 2024? Oh, it's so hard to say at this point. I think the obvious ones would be like Fnatic towards the top.
所有的人都在不停的游。
I think Navi will be good. I think Foot. So I think there's like probably a tier here. I think Foot will be good.
那我觉得这对于 RA 来说，现在也是逼出了对面的两个战术暂停。DRG 也知道，如果这个上半场就是现在2比10就不用谈了。
Trying to think if there's any other teams I'm sort of moderately excited for.
12比1，那这张图就已经失去了悬念。
I think you got Giants.
确实是有点偏防守。
You have got Vitality. You have got KC. I think probably down here that BBL. And then Gentle Mates. Just because I've not seen enough mates to see if they'd be any good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you got Heretic still. You got Koi. Koi's down here, especially if they lose Trex. Heretics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's the one team I'm missing? Got all 3 Spanish teams. Your is covering half of it. Yeah, you're right. I realized. There.
A 区已经是完全清空，那 B 区我们可以看到 A B 连接这个位置将会成为 DRG 非常重要的一个点位。一波不成就再来一波。
Team Liquid. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think so. Team Liquid would probably be the top of the tier beneath Navi and Foot. Like better than Giants.
没有办法了，被 U 曼打下来，但是已经给队伍创造了人数，又是4打3的情况，暗包之后的手包的情况。
现在 DRG 又是所有人在点里守。对，但这一分他们笃定了对手。
Just move the whole thing. Yeah, I was trying to move my camera, but it's fine. That works too. 4v3 or 3v3 now. Great timing on that peak actually from Martin. Martin 1v2. Oh, it's so good. I mean, I don't know what angle Dingway's standing on there, but really nicely done.
那这样的话，只能说在 DRG 这一盘的观赛上面又多钉了一颗钉子啊。是的
，DRG 这个回合有点雪上加霜的感觉啊。其实开局已经打出了一个很不错的人数互换了，尤其是 Luke 这一波孤注一掷的 A 区，直接往死里夹，还换了2个人。
Yeah, like Dingway just being out like that is a little bit risky.
2v1上面都没有跟马丁找到任何的便宜。
对他俩有点一个一个出的意思了，就没有打协同，没有2个人一起拉他。
Just a 3-2-1 that, yeah.
因为有连败的原因，这一分倒是能起，但是现在已经是都不能叫强。
19-2. Yeah, he's doing well. I mean, he's definitely getting some good aim practice with Luke jumping across there each time.
现在 DRG 在 A 区，他确实前点拿的倒是每次都挺顺的。
1号被打残，退回去。
1号 gets what? Well, tries to fight and then leaves because he's half HP. Give it a lot of respect, Secret.
也有个非常致命的问题，看一下这个旋转门，就当时 Luke 已经把2个惊喜翻腾应该都交了，对，所以 Luke 现在进点他们不能提节奏了，他只能慢慢走进去。那其实雷兹对于进攻方的一个，就他比较能拉枪线的这个结果就已经是失去了。
持续的开树屋的门，给对面 A 点压力，暗眼给了，给的有点高，只给到了一个过点，正好撞到 Steel 枪口。伏笔来了，没有晋级翻腾，但是过点还是有些风险。
Stu's kind of on his own now. Doesn't matter. Oh, the movement! I almost thought that he got into drop then. Managed to get a kill and leave at the same time. Alright, now Martin's farming. Doesn't matter at all, does it? Yeah. He's actually just styling on him. It would be so weird to see a 13-0 in a grand final, but we're on track for it from the looks. He almost gets behind that box.
DRG 来说，他们下半场能做些什么呢？我们看到这张地图对于 DRG 来说，确实在过去的战绩也说明了很多。但可能我觉得对他们来说，他们也没有想到今天这张地图会有一个这么大的分差吧？因为在面对 ASE 的时候，也是一个11比13，一个惜败。
更多的还是因为这个阵容。
We were getting a GC Champs 2022 kind of final. I think Bind's the important one because I think Rare Atom on Sunset should look really strong. Not DRG have played it a little. I don't know what they've been cooking up. They haven't played it in Ascension so far. Did they play it in? Oh, so they've never played Sunset either. So if it gets that far, it's a real big question mark. This is an overtime angle. I really don't know about that.
好，看一下下半场的一个起枪 ，RA 这边的 Stu 还是起出了一把狂怒。对，
A lot of chances now for Atom to close this out.
而 RA 这边我们看到数据就很夸张了 ，Stu 这个22-3的 KD， 这一把是一个爽刷局。
Yeah, 22 and 3.
当中最高的 KD 应该是10个出头。
来了，直接防守方 C 大的单向延出击。
The rest of the team has 37 kills total, and Stu is 22. Nice shot. Does get hit by the Prowler, so he has to back off a little bit. Not backing off at all. That Haunt isn't broken. In fact, all of DRG are going to fight. Zeno luckily gets the kills, because otherwise it's a nightmare. But Your Man trades 2 out anyway, so it's a 2v2. Your Man's going to face. Now Nick, who only has 2 kills to his name from the first half, has to double his kill count if he wants to win this. Planted open as well. That's a good plant, actually.
对，这个鬼眼应该是会给到树屋里面。但说实话，这个高低双价对于手枪来说非常痛苦。好，直接干。
All right, 30-0 in the grand final. All right.
最后的一个击杀13-0，第3张地图 ，RA 是守住了自己。
We're at him back.
而且 RA 也是反手就给了对面一个非常大的一个自己要卷土重来的气势。
Barely been live, and we've already seen this map sort of come to.
小比分，我是1分都不会给你拿到。是的。这张地图确实能看得到 RA 在这张地图的控制力，包括选手个人的发挥上。
Gonna eat some late breakfast. Yeah, I mean, I was watching Ascent on my phone. As soon as it ended, I got up and went live. I had YouTube chat open, but I didn't check it. Oh, it was just a hello from this morning.
是的，接下来再回顾一下由欧盟暗影精灵带来的精彩回放。是，我觉得对于现在的 DRG 来说
，But yeah, kind of a shocking start to say the very least. Those Valve figures are sick, but so expensive. Yeah, they're pretty much in line with the same price as the Overwatch ones. £150. It might be more actually now. I remember I wanted the Diva one for Overwatch, but it was £400 for that one. I was like, nah. Might be more nowadays because of like shipping. Might be less now, but it used to be 400.
真是 DRG 数据更好的一个地图，我觉得 DRG 也是相对来说会把宝更多的压在下一张地图。对，这是对于 DRG 来说非常好的一次机会，甚至是为数不多的机会。因为其实我们讲了很多次了，如果来到日落之城的话，其实 RA 的数据会非常好。
460 ACS. That's a safety report. That happens in a ranked game. You're safety reporting this guy just in case he's cheating. He's doing almost 300 damage per round. That's a KD of 6.3. That's pretty crazy. With 460 ACS, KD of 6.3, and then average damage per round. Crazy. He almost does double the ACS of Vukashu. yeah, I mean, this guy's fighting for it. Quite literally a fine, I'll do it myself kind of response. So 29 kills, to 42. So you got 22 kills, the rest of his team got 42. So is that total? Pretty much like a third of the kills for his team he got. I think this is clutches, right? That'd be the mountain clutch. Yeah, you sort of see the skylights a bit. Like, this was Rare Atom's pick. DRG dealt with it quite nicely. This was DRG's pick, but it's quite close. 6 all each half. And this was Rare Atom's pick, dominant. This is the real question mark. Like, Rare Atom haven't been bad on bind. They just run double duelist anyway, I'm pretty sure. And then Sunset is... So, DRG have pretty much been banning out Sunset before today. Today they ban out Haven. So, Sunset is left open as the last map. Which is a real question. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of orgs watching Rare Atom wanting to pick them up. Like, I'd like to see Rare Atom actually make it into Ascension. Like, DRG, I think, as a squad is worth, like, picking up. Or at least the main parts. Like, you'd pick up Luke, and I think you'd pick up Fukashu. And then the coach. Nick, I guess, as well, because he is the IGL. So you've got your duelist, you've got your IGL, and you've also got a really good import player on Sentinel. So finding, like, an initiator and then finding a controller player, I think is relatively easy. Like, you could keep the two that you have at the moment, because I think that Digsway and Xeno have been playing pretty good overall. But I do think that there's probably better that you can get. I wonder where Maisie went, because Maisie was good. Shion I didn't think too much about. But I do think that there's some really good, like, control players that you could pick up. But I think that you could build a core, and then, like, obviously the coach as well, who I can't remember their name off the top of my head. Like, picking up this is like a core, I think, is really good. And then you can pick up the other two if you want. Like, you could pick up, Leo would be a good pickup. Trying to think of other players that played in Ascension. I just don't know if some players, like, have gone off of teams because they were picked up by partnership teams, or whether they were dropped because they're not good enough. Like, on a lot of teams, we haven't seen enough of them to really know whereabouts they stand. So, yeah. I'm going to run some ads just before the next game so people don't get them in the middle of the game. So, you could either sub, get Twitch Turbo, run ad blockers. I don't mind. But this is just to stop people coming in and getting ads right at the start of the game. Or during the game. So, be right back. I'm just going to play some ads. For everybody else that's... who's still here? For one. No ads for my country? Oh, what country is that? Rabianga. Rabianga is a very, like, Latin, Spanish sort of twang, but could be anything, really. Rabianga. Portugal. Oh, so not too far off. So my friend group every year have, like, a travel to a country, hang out there kind of thing. And we're thinking about going to Lisbon next year. But people aren't really sure. Because I think Lisbon is very 50-50 on... Portugal, I've heard, is, like, really nice. Like, the buildings and stuff like that. But there is also that kind of, like, Spanish, drinking, people trying to get you into bars for a free drink that's like super watered down, and you know, the kind of like nightclubby lads holiday away kind of vibe with like drinking in places like that. And then it's also like 50-50 for Portugal on like, is it cheap, is it expensive? Because people say it's cheap, people say it's expensive, especially Lisbon. But my my nan and my grandmother used to live in Albufeira, so I've been to Portugal and I really liked it. I think I definitely preferred Portugal to Spain. But I've been to Madrid in Spain, and I've been to Barcelona. Barcelona I'd 100% go to again, but when I went, I was a kid anyway. I was probably like 10 or 11. Wait, no. I was 10 or 11 when I went with my family, and about 15, 16 when I went with Scouts. So I feel like if I go to Barcelona now, it won't be as like magical, you know? Lisbon is the most expensive place in Portugal, but Portugal is still pretty cheap when compared to most of Europe. Okay, that's good to know. Please go again as an adult. I think I definitely like to go around the time that the cathedral is built, which I remember is like, it should be finished building in 2047. But I imagine that's probably, with COVID as well, I imagine that's probably been bumped up to 2060. Are there any cities sort of relatively close to Lisbon? Because Albufeira, I think, is like southwest. Oh, okay. All right. Whereas we're going to pull out the fucking ISO in a grand final for Ascension. All right, Viva. To say that this is a risk would be actually trolling. I gotta tweet this, I'm sorry. Hope that I'm pulling it this way just in case.
Viva 的一决，它相当于代替了双决斗，它也是双决斗，对吧？没问题。
就速来更契合狙，就是解封会更契合明狙一点，然后让 Viva 更多去使用步枪。
I cannot actually believe that this is gonna be how it goes. I am so glad I woke up and streamed this today.
当然，秋叶那一场就像我们说拿了 MVP， 但他拿的恐怕跟他的技能组关系不是特别大。我们先来看这一分他的买的技能啊，他是买了稳态波。
Fucking China, man. Right, where are we at? Where's the ISO? I actually do think the ISO on this map is probably... I think this is his best map. For players like that, he did get the vulnerable on Dingway, but he just peeks out too much that maybe doesn't expect Dingway to be on that kind of angle. So what do they lack? Okay, so they don't... It is that flex position. I mean, DRG are doing this. Yoman's in a 1v4, 1v3. 20 HP on Zeno. Yoman has been peeked from all sorts of different directions. He's doing it, and DRG is starting to panic a little bit. He's baited away for Nick perfectly, though. So Nick deals with that nice. All right. Oh, I'm brave.
我很欣赏他们这种，就我尽管很有压力，但是我没有去把，就我没有说因为这个压力我反而打得很拘束，我们还是想要打出来自己的一些特色的这种，当然某种程度上也是出其不意吧，一手骑兵。
但一决其实能贡献的火力更多的要跟那些队友配合，或者他去当一个去架枪的人，对，或者去补枪的人会更厉害。他打
I think that this, I don't know. I definitely feel with like Bind, like my opinion is that the Cypher, while still really strong, is a little bit overrated. And I don't really think that the ISO deals with the Cypher very well. Like, I think for one on this map, I feel like Fade should be played a lot more than she is. A lot more than she is. I'm not saying that she should be meta, but if I'm like a coach from one of these like teams in VCT, I'm like, I think the Fade is like the answer. Okay, Yao is destroying people now. Martin's in a 1 versus 1. He's already just won a 1 versus 2 on Lotus. One thing I also just realized as well, the closest round the DRG had to winning, other than that 1v2 that Martin won, was their eco after the pistol. But they probably should have won it in the end. I mean, the fact that he went for that fight with a Marshall was maybe a little bit egregious, but it's just an eco. Right, let's watch the ISO. Let's see what kind of... where are they defaulted? They're played in lamps, which makes a lot of sense, because if there's a fast shot execute, you could just vulnerable this, you can wall to try and get a timing of a peak. This is either going to be really good or really underwhelming. Like in this kind of game, the ISO pick can't afford to just be fine, like it was for Tech, where they picked ISO and it was like, it was okay, didn't really do much. The vulnerable. The problem I think as well is like if you throw it out, it's such a visual like clutter piece. Like to an extent, he ended up one way in himself, and then Dingwei just peaks. But I am curious on how that looked from Dingwei's perspective, because that could be a buff for ISO if he's not up to par, of it making that vulnerable ability a little bit clearer to see through, so there is an element of being able to throw it out and then peek off of it. I'm just literally speaking my mind here because we don't see enough ISO. I'm like, okay, this is good, this is not. And Dingwei gets 4. He's close to a Viper's Pit. This is not really that great for Atom so far. Yeah, I mean... Similar to the All-Cypher ult when the enemy was close to it. Yeah, well, we saw both perspectives there. I think it was easier for Dingwei to see his opponent than it was for Viva. But also, I think that if you're playing the ISO, I think that you get away with throwing out, like, one vulnerable that we saw Viva there. Like, he gets flashed, throwing it out is fine. I don't like where Martin is there, because he has no support at all. I know it's on an eco, but still, like, that's just... I think a timeout might be needed soon, because if you're playing the ISO, you're playing for the vulnerable, but nobody else is peeking off of these vulnerables at all. Wouldn't surprise me if there's a timeout coming after this. Because especially the players on the A site are just playing way too split apart. You're also not playing with a Raze either. Stu is not on Raze. Which I really don't like. I mean, the obvious reason why I don't like it is I think that just a vulnerable plus a nade would be a really good combo. Yeah, I don't know if it's troll. The problem I think I have with it is Stu is playing Jet, I think, for the up, but at this rate, with how this is going, he might be able to afford it now. But if they keep just hemorrhaging rounds, even a couple of rounds at a time, he's not going to have that operator up much.
没有看到一绝这个英雄就是威瓦和他队友的联动，
对他们计划当中的配合是什么样子？是的，他更多时候也好像是想自己就。
I don't really like saying that, like, oh, Raze is a super meta pick on this map. Yeah, so he's got to go right now. I think it's more like Raze is a lot better than Jet, but if you're not in a position to make the most out of the Raze and you want to up, especially, like, I think playing the Jet is fine. The problem is if you pick the Jet over the Raze, it's a dead giveaway of, like, okay, you're not really playing for the utility, you're playing to up. Like, that's your win condition. And if you have stuff like this, it just gets caught out too easily. I will say Nick is having so much impact with these flashes too. Neural theft as well. It's given some information. Gets one. Oh, gets a second two. Oh, this is a disaster. This is a disaster so far for fucking... They have to save the operator too. I think DRG are going to be very... not only happy with how the scoreline's going right now, but they picked this map. They're 2-0 up. They still haven't shown their sunset, which is maybe a little bit scary, but it's also like, we know what Rare Atom like to do. They have no clue what comp we play, where we play our defaults. Like, even though it's an untested map for DRG, it's still a big advantage to have a map like that at this point. They've never seen you play. Thank you for the sub, Echo, or Echo. Hope you're doing well. For those that don't know, Echo did, you did the Game Changers casts for Nip, didn't you, on their stream? Which I know Fikuza was very fond of because of how complimentary you were of her. But also, I do find it funny that, like, it's a stream for Nip, and I felt that you were just waxing lyrical about us instead of Nip. Yeah, you also... oh yeah, you messaged me about jumping on a watch party, but I think for the Game Changers watch parties, I was very like... it's a very sketch thing because I'm trying to just watch party along. But then I'm also leaving to jump into Discord to talk to the team in between. So it's like, if I have somebody else in here, I'm just going to make it like, it's going to be very like awkward. Not awkward socially, but just like me constantly coming and going. It's like, I just prefer to do it on my own. But I'd 100% recommend to you, like, you could like cast some of the Game Changers games if it's the same sort of system as last year. But also just watch party in this, like, it's not like people like Sliggy and Thinking Man's Valorant and stuff aren't watch party in all of Game Changers. I know Yinsu did a little bit, and so like, I think there's probably good viewership there. Like, that's one thing that I'm sort of tempted to do a little bit more this year, is like watch party everything. Yeah, messy for brain anyway, yeah. I only did it with Marcus because like me and Marcus are like close anyway, and even then it's just like us jumping in and out of a Discord. Alright, he actually gets a kill to use his... he has his ult, but he has a Guardian. Nobody's peeking into him because of that. Yeah, he just deals with him afterwards. Good respect, actually, from DRG. What a turnaround for DRG after being 13-0. Good mental. Yeah, really good mental. I mean, they're... the underdog buff that you get when you're in a series like this is too good. Also, one thing I do want to double check. We have just had a timeout, but I didn't want to check this before. It did play in Ascension already. It was 2-0. Split in Haven. This was a really good... This was the like the mental changer for DRG to go from 32 down. They didn't have to worry about Haven because they were going to ban it out. And Stu can't save the operator either. So now they're on an eco again. I thought it was an eco last round, but I think it was just a force buy. The one rifle that they have an orbital strike. You have the kill contract with Stinger. I just want to see some super like troll. Yes, he gets the Viper, so it's good. So he's just gonna like wait and hope that the ultimate goes out. Oh, he does have a rifle now. Oh, he got the rifle from Yihao. Yihao was like, take my rifle, use your ult, go. Oh, they got this late leg. This should be fine though. Okay, I said I wanted something slightly troll. I'll take that. I think that was fabulous. Because Yihao gets a kill with this gun. He then gives that rifle over to Viva, so Viva ults the Viper. And then the orbital strike on the plant. Because I think the plan was even if Viva loses that fight on the ISO, they'll just orbital strike where the Viper was picked up. So even if the Viper won that duel, she would have died anyway to the Brim ult. So yeah, good idea. Still a long way to go. Yeah, whoever drummed up that play is very clever. I like that. I think that's the one thing I miss from the like new agents that have come out. Even Gecko to an extent. Like you don't really have any like kooky stuff that you can do. Well, you do, but the agents have been so underappreciated and just undertuned that we don't get to see some of the good ideas that you can come up with. Orbital strike on site for showers. Viva tries it. 4v4. The smoke is actually really nice if you want to try and get in onto Tetris, but they haven't properly cleared it, and Xeno's still here. You got two in lamps, one on the default plant. One shut himself on showers, who is now rotating over. He still has his molly, so he's got lineups. Might not even be needed at this rate. Still one in lamps. Time is getting really awkward. Yeah, Stu's saving. And yeah, with the Brim still alive, the mollies just makes it really, really tricky. DRG did well on bind. Yeah, look at what Viva's playing. Yeah, I was worried about it anyway. Just in the sense that DRG picked to play this map, but it was either this or a map that they'd never played, so I think it was a little bit like wasn't sure what we were gonna get. Now with this comp, and definitely with this score, I'm very nervous. The ISO makes it very interesting, but I don't think they're playing it as optimally as they could do. But I will say for ISO, I think getting the use out of the vulnerables at the very least. Oh no. Nick just not afraid to face that though. In all honesty, I'd prefer to see this... I wouldn't be afraid to see this comp if you swap out Stu's Jet for a Chamber. I think in that sense I'd prefer Viva on Raze, but I do think that the ISO could work there. You don't really have an entry as much. All right, good read. I wonder if that's some sort of like psychological play that you put the smoke slightly to the left, and you know that there's always going to be a player that hooks right. Yeah, Jet Bind is not a pick for. It's definitely not a pick that's based on like optimal play. It's not something that you'd see Anders cook up. It's purely comfort. It purely comes from a. I am absolutely cooking these guys in this series on the operator. I'm going to play the agent that gives me the best opportunity to make the most out of that. Instead of Raze. Because opping is really hard on this map anyway. Raze opping is even harder. Because naturally Raze opping is hard, but with how this map is... Okay, Yeoman had an important round, which is good. Vukashi still made it close. Did he plant? I thought he planted in the middle of Tube, but I saw the spike drop from him. And then there's Kankag. Yeah, Kankag will just op on anything. So much of this is Vukashi on attack on Cypher, which is the scary thing. He's 10 and 3. I think Martin's been punished by this a lot. Like the way that he's aggressively facing. Here's the Skydog. Lucas followed in. Oh, they're actually on a low buy here, DRG. Don't like where you're fighting there, Martin. The Trailblazers and Seekers to get information. You got the Brimstone rotated over towards B because of the TP play, potentially. But now in a 1 versus 3, you can just fight for it. If they go for the TP, just play together. Nicely done. I think as soon as Martin realizes that they're on like Stingers and Bulldogs, I think playing where he was initially is good, like there. But I don't like the fact that he was on this angle when they have like Stingers. Ooh, close. Also, if you're going to consistently play this spot, I think play it with a Phantom. Run, 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 run. Don't hold, don't try to stay by, just run. Viva's at a really good spot. This is perfect. Don't like the... Like, again, like, you're just vulnerable in when there's no, like, follow-up. If somebody was coming out backside ready to go lamps, then you eat it out there. But otherwise, you've just given away your position. Yihao gets a nice kill. They know that there's one in showers. Good angle for Nick to be on to take the fight against Yihao. Spike still hasn't been planted. Sky, your man is still on B, just in case they go through the TP. Alright, this has been a good, like... Good stuff from Rare Atom. Because it kind of has turned into DRG and just executing wherever they show first is where they go. Yeah, it's true with the ISO, like... I think I'm always, like, more defensive-minded. Like, I'm always looking at, like, defaults on defense more than attack, which is probably bad from me. I think it's the wrong way around. I think the way that I see, like, the ISO thing being thrown is... Yeah, sure, it can, like, hold them. Almost kind of like a stun or a molly that did, like, oh, shit. But, if there's a player that's going, like, late A, you've got some good information there. There's somebody's in showers. But I guess it's also an element of, like, if you're going 5 short, you should assume that the defenders naturally are going to take this, or if they have it already, they're just going to hold it. I think the thing that I dislike the most about it is just the amount of those vulnerables that are thrown out that don't have anything off the back of them.
我觉得从优曼那2波穿射拿到那1分之后啊，整个 RA 的状态就好了很多。这个节奏也重新回到了自己的手中 ，Stu 依然是民居。哇，佛卡手又是一个裸狂徒。枪男是不是都是这样选择的？然后最后1分了。
Like, they're quite expensive. You get 2 charges of them. They're probably the best bit of ISO's kit. Like, if you had 2 paranoias, would you throw them out in as a liberal as a way? Oh no, fucking Martin has been all over the place on this one. Get him told, Stu. Also not scoped in just to work on peripheral vision. Especially with these smokes. Because honestly, if they push him, he could just no-scope probably get the kill. He does miss the shot on Dingway. I don't know why the Observer switched off of him like that. Viva gets one backside, it's one heaven. Bukashi's trying to fight because it's a 2v3. Bukashi's 20 HP. That's a good vulnerable. That's a great flash. That's more what I want to see. That's much better. I think because you have 2, I think for one of them you can be really, like, use it to create pressure or to stall or whatever. I think one thing that I didn't like from watching it with Tech is just that they kind of were just yeeting him out without any plan. I don't think we're going to see it. Yeah, not too bad. What was it? 6-0? Might have even been 7-0 with a comeback.
现在对于 DRG 来说，我就能感觉到他们的选手状态已经是有点波动了，就包括队伍的沟通的频率有可能有点波动。
So what were... I think they were running double duelist before. Combined. Yeah, they were running double duelist. Technically they still are, but... What was it for heritability? Was it the same? Oh no, it was just taking a while to load. Yeah, double duelists. I mean, there's still some good scorelines. The DRG on Bind have not been stellar. It's been okay. I think that's the one thing that I do like about... You'd never see teams from Americas or EMEA do this. Maybe Pacific you would. Yeah, like... Exactly, Echo. Is it Echo or Eco? I guess it's Echo, like the lead character. Thoughts about Jet versus Raze with the ISO? Naturally, I think that the Raze is better. Just because of, like, the vulnerable nade in itself would be very powerful, especially to add to that stall. But I think the whole plan... The worrying part is I think the plan was for Stu to up more, but he could only get the up so much, and when he did have the operator, he was missing quite a lot. Like, he's bottom of the kill feed, for his team at the very least. Viva goes down. Stu has to dash. So we don't see much of ISO this round. Fair to say. Rafi's very excited by this game. No, Echo casts. I'd probably just call you Obsidian, to be fair. What was I saying? Yeah, if teams realize that you are just throwing out these vulnerables and there isn't really any follow-up, you can just disrespect them. Similar like snake bites, right? Like, you look at how much, like, a snake bite on its own can't really do as much naturally. But if you combine it with good parts of utility, you can get so much more impact. So that's kind of how I feel with, like, the flash for ISO, if we call it that. Okay, this is now turning around. Oh, close. Similar to the Fade Tether. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you think of how good Season 8 is, and how much more you could do with I need to actually know the name of the ability. I need to look it up. I swear, if Fukashi clutches this, Yihao's adjusted nicely. Like, he still thinks that he's Huka. Yeah, nice from Yihao. Yeah, let me check what the... That's the other problem with Agents not really being played that much. Is this the Strider that went bust? Yeah, it is. Oh, God. Undercut. Like, this is such a contingency. That's such a bad name for an ability. Double tap I like. Kill contract I kind of like. Undercut. Oh. Where are we? This one. Contingency is such a bad name for an ability, though. It's the gulag, never calling it that. Kill contract I don't mind. But yeah, why is this there we go. Yeah, because she's not put down any utility, which I think is fine. Like, problem with Cypher, I suppose, is it's always costly. I don't know if this camera got broken at the start. I imagine it would do. There's the wall. The undercut is a little bit too high. Alright, that worked out. She was just watching it. Alright. Good. Round after pistol. We need a name for that. There's a lot of terminology that I think somebody needs to coin in Valorant. And I think the round after the pistol is a good one. Let's call it Orion. Let's not call it Orion. That just makes it sound vain. I'd love to coin a term in-game like that, but yeah. Yeah, the no util cipher is a Vikashi thing. Very much so, yeah. But I also understand where it comes from. Because, like, even here, he's half armor, has a cage, only put one trip down. Oh, your man at least gets it. Stu panicked. So they have a cage just outside of showers too. Oh, he must have thrown that one down because they surely hit the one on short more. How's Ride feeling today? I'm good, Bojan. Late start today, but I think I went to bed last night late and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I don't know if I fancy it. But and then I was like, oh, I did start streaming at the start. Is it worth it? I was like, streaming some is better than streaming none. 4v2. He wallbanged him no scope with a Marshall, I think. Is he just sticking? He kind of has to. Oh, the timing worked out so well for Martin, though. It doesn't make any sense for the wall. Like, what? When you mean the wall, you mean like the barrier pushing forward, don't you? Because naturally, when people say walls in this game, I feel like I was hesitating, thinking that like I was leaking something, but I don't know for certain. I feel like the new agent would probably have like smokes that are walls, like deployable wall smokes. That's my guess. I don't know why I was like, I'm not going to share that, because it's not anything I was ever told. It's just me like using Anders' mode of thinking and carrying on with that. Yeah, the ability name, I saw all. I think shield is probably better than wall. Shoot, such a stupid name for a wall ability. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's probably some cool name that you can get. Like, you could take some like Roman strategy, or just any wartime strategy where they have shields and they're slowly eking forward. Double tap is also a shield. Yeah. Oh, that's really good timing with the Seekers, actually. If Viva gets one, he gets his double tap. Gets another. Is that a triple tap? Does the name escalate with the amount of barriers that you get? Alright, pretty good. I think actually the shields there saved him. He's 94 HP, loses shield there. Just saves him. That second one just saves him. It's a timeout. I actually do want to like slow that down to see how that like came to be. Where is it? So he gets the shield there. Like, let's 2x speed this. So he loses the shield there. 81 gets the shield. Goes down to 50. Shield goes, and then he takes damage. So that's an incredible save from the shield there. Actual value from ISO. We love to see it. What is Val Analysis got on his sheets? I think he literally just does their default. Even though no shot, he'd lose that round if he did. True. I think literally the only notes that Rare Atom have for this map for DRG was their main default. Because the other thing I probably saw was just the wall going across from B. Who are they planning to get? The Sky? Viva, what are you going to do? Clean? I see. I think the whole idea is that if you use kill contract, you lose the fight. If they're playing in Garden, the rest could just push up and get them. So they're a little bit lucky that the Sky actually like backed out to here. That they like, if the Sky had won that fight, it would have been really hard to have the rest of the team to trade that out, because you just put the Viper wall up and other people probably face and protect it. But I like that idea. And it's also like a good place to do because there's always going to be like a Sky playing here. Like every team that plays Sky will have them default start here to flash down here or to flash through the TP. Oh my god, they're going mad. They've got a good flank. That spike dropped as well. Are they going to go for TP? It's a good shout, actually. But now where the hell are you going to plant? Because you have to be worried about behind you. They're just planting in tube. And you got the late flank from the Brim. This is now like iffy timing-wise now. Stew's effectively in a 1 versus 3. And the Brim is so far away. Does he have a lineup from here? I don't think that... I mean, he's yeeted that out. It's in the middle of tube, though, as well. So, like, that might have even hit, like, default. But it would have bad. Gonna head off. Have a good one. ISO Supremacy. See you, Echo. There's a 5 versus 3 that was lost from Raratum, though. And I like that Luke actually flanked all the way around, because they don't have a Cypher or any real Sentinel, so they don't have flank protection. So it is kind of surprising that it's taken DRG this long to try and do that. Missed 5 seconds of the round. Oh, the camera. He's got an idea of this. There it is. Trip is very high up. Oh, Vukashi almost gets caught out. I did see ultimates. They have narrow theft. Money is still kind of rough though. Zeno is on a stinger. Alright, good shot from Stew. Tack up been very hard on this map now, especially when you don't have the raise there, but it doesn't matter. Nick tries to push through the smoke. Your man's watching it. Right, so they lose lamps. Your man's pushing backside through the smoke. Alright. Stu still wanted to make the operator work, which I think is good. I mean, that's fine. I feel like he did more with the operator that round than he did in the whole defensive half. I mean, it felt like it took him by surprise. That's part of the job. DRG don't have any more timeouts. We're at him with 1 extra. Eco for DRG. Still have narrow 50. They have a showstopper from Luke. Yeah, just peek against Zito. Dog to see if there's anything else. They do actually see that the sky is there. Luke comes through and kills him with the classic. He has a showstopper. Almost, yeah, gets caught out. They need to protect that gun now. Ingway's pushing Martin. It's a little bit whiffy. He doesn't take any damage, but Ingway just wasn't expecting him to be on that angle. Grenade here at this point is good. They got the camera on showers that was just broken by the ISO. Everybody is here. There's a sky flash ready to go, and there's still that showstopper from Luke. Perfectly traded. Well, Viva trades himself, so that's good. Nick has a stinger. Headshots him a lot. Like, man goes down to 12 HP. Still, like, all things considered, quite close.
不会留下很多漏洞。
这波 Luke 能打掉 Uman 其实也是一个
很神奇的事情。
I think Martin wasn't expecting him to be that close either.
这样子也挺麻烦。是的。
那最后的位置已经几乎被锁死。
Yeah, kind of lucky there a little bit because he did get headshot, so there was the aim punch.
看一下11比8的关键。
Sky Flash down B long doesn't hit the brim, I don't think. So Yehao's still there.
下一张图片了。关键没有防守前压，这把
It's really interested at the default in the Sky here.
他可以一点一点的推进。
对，但不敢前。哦，这一次定位。
Stu gets caught. Stu still the operator there. Like, that's...
终于是把这把进攻局解决了。花秩序有能看到位置吗？
The problem here is that
有满暴露了自己的位置。
the Jet isn't going to be lurking up here alone with the operator. So yeah, they are pinging it with a warning inside. Like, surely somebody else was with Stu.
大的他肯定要保命。那 A 点又是个老问题，半线监控。
I think they need to, like, it's just Viva dealing with this camera. I think they probably want to send 2 people here. But I also think there's an element of DRG. Like, they have this camera, but they're not doing anything to play off of this.
前后来回倒腾，你不好猜。哦，好，这混烟。定位直接混。
Stingray gets Yeoman. 3 versus 5.
油门直接倒头就睡。
Camera's not been picked up because Vukashi's busy. He can't check his camera. Now he has. Oh, Viva unlucky. Alright, good run from DRG.
关键还是撕掉民居。
对，就现在Still拿手杀对于 RA 来说非常重要，重要到不能够重要。然后如果他有民居
A little bit of an odd one. I wonder how, like, where Stu died from. The Digway was just in a really good spot there. Good round from him. Definitely individually. But I also think this is a good timeout from Marathon.
叫一个暂停啊，我觉得也跟他们拿了一决我觉得假如这是一个雷子，
Like, they could definitely do with changing stuff up with their default.
他的压力就可能雷子。
Because there's a lot of stuff that DRG are doing that they're either not really... Like the camera and showers, they're not doing anything off of that, really.
他最多只能推个墙，然后自己
They're doing the same camera. The Cypher's always on A.
但现在无论如何 ，RA 还是有2分的领先优势，而这个战术暂停可以稍微解决一下 DRG。
Like, I think the things that Rare Atom are doing are way
时间的最后一个暂停了，非常
needlessly more creative than they need to be.
这应该是跟第二
The creativity is nice, but I think that there's just...
3张图看的都是一个大饼。
They're doing stuff where it's like, that's a cool idea. Like, try to have the operator lurk up behind the Viper wall. But if you do this, this, and this, it's easier, efficient, and like you're exploiting what they're doing.
RA 怎么来做调整？两边的常规时间暂停全部叫完。
Rare Atom, please win this map. I'd love to see like a skirt back to a full best of 5.
换了，
纠结，
应该是暂停前买的局，暂停回来之后把局换了。
决定换了。就虽然能拿到首杀，但是好像未必能决胜。不是，他主要在看，好像优曼是起不了。
The map's a wrong side,
优
oh.
曼是起不了步枪的。
Naturally, I don't do them. If you wanna fix them up, you're more than welcome.
然后 Still 发不出来步
But no pressure.
这样的话，这一分是一个。
I'm assuming there's a Vukashi fan in here. But
看一下 Nick 会不会吃个当啊？立刻给了防守人员。
I don't understand. I guess it'd be Cyrillic.
进攻方现在有点难受。
I don't want to say Russian because it might not be. They just sprays through and Stew. Still survives. A lot of damage done at the very least.
50滴血活了下来，但是这个暂停回来，民居被混死了。
Hey, Magnum.
这是找谁？
Wait, why are you saying hi? You were here before.
坏消息，民居倒了。好消息，优曼捡起了民居，正好他没起枪。
是的，他有枪了。
I've known Vukashi since 2022 Rebels. Yeah, same.
下一分其实1号也很难起枪。极限枪，小身位 ，OK。
Casted him a lot.
对方的弹道，
这一分马丁的身位控制的很细，然后把 Zeno 逼走 ，Zeno 肯定要保命的。
Yeah, I think Stew
斩了魁父的，所以这一波 RA 想去转。
Stew did so much seconds to get Luke. The molly is great, but it doesn't get Nick. He's actually like in that corner.
但是是一个满血哦，
决斗通牒。
OK。
Viva just fucking deletes these guys. It's not even a duel. He just gets one. There's one more. There's one more mine. Oh, that's not mine. Yeehaw. 2v2. And Martin peeks out the back of his ultimate. Why? Oh. Viva does well. I don't know what Martin's playing out there. I was coached by the Rebels coach for a bit. He was fanboying over Vukashi and another player from that roster.
卡数在这个魁父里面找到了最合适的一个角度。
这个 B 点，这个魁父就是不卡数的。
Wasn't it Papa Smurf that was on
魁蛇主动来拉他，
Rebels at that time?
被神经许确定了位置，但他一发直接定死了。
一颗失误都没有，瓦卡数。 混死 Luke 的，而且甚至在决斗通牒里，维瓦还是非常稳的再收一个。
但注意之后，保卡楚的位置，他先绕到了1号的一个背。
That's really unlucky though. Like just the corner where the smoke is. Oh, I see. Martin gets hit by the neural theft.
10比11，
而且进攻方经济不多了，
而且 Luke 起民居了，
然后自己这个时候
Crystal
民居哦，
我不确定 Luke 应该是自己起的，看他
这个经济应该是自己起的。
对，只有200块。
那这样的话，其实第二
I've assistant coach or analyst. Oh, okay. What was the name?
双方的终极技能都很一般。
I mean, stuff like assistant coaches and analysts are often missing on VLR, especially like VCL teams. It might have been. I mean, Crystal was on teams with like Vlad, and then I can't remember the name of the player that they got in this time. It's like mini minor or something. Bukashi's dead, so this is open now. Luke is the operator. 4v2. And Nick just pushes in his own teammate's snakebite. Their name is Leo now. Okay. My palms are sweating now from watching this. Like, I'm nervous for Rare Atom at this point. I think they had a low buy next kind of vibe. Oh, they're on an eco here. 3 stingers, 4 stingers and a judge. They're just all going short. Ultimates, they have a showstopper for Luke. He has the operator as well. Good molly. Oh, he's fully... That second flash is brilliant, actually, from Yo Man. Nick is in the smoke. Showstopper's used. Showstopper misses. Right, Vukashi gets 1. Nick's getting loads. Viva gets a second. Was it 1 versus 2? Never mind, it's done. Good damage done, but yeah, the reaction was just a bit too good from DRG. Yeah, Lynxy was definitely like a prospect player, I think, for 2022. I haven't really watched him much. Alright, this is big. Stu is judge. Nuzza does 1, gets the brim. He's 2 out of 2 on these so far. He loses. Is there a follow-up? Yes, the judge. But everybody else, I mean, the kill feed is not, I don't know who's alive. So 1 versus 2, the kill feed's wrong. Oh my god, Martin's heart must be fucking pumping at this rate to 1v2. The Sky Flash, oh, it gets it. You still have a minute. Martin's put up the wall hoping that like that might pull a rotation, but it's not. DRG have not fallen for this yet. It's Nick and Dingway still alive. To say that this is the biggest clutch of Martin's career is an understatement. At this point, if they plant A, you could just flank market if you're DRG.
从现在定位和 Nick 的选位上来说，他们的回防是会有点慢的，因为他们现在不管是选市场的一个绕后回防，还是选择正面。
Yeah, that's what they're doing. He still has the Viper wall.
他有2个10欧稳，他其实可以操作的。
对，只要占领小黑屋这个地方，对方第一时间其实是不太好来，但是现在他不知道对方的位置。
Okay, this is interesting.
他现在只要打1个，然后这2个10欧稳就能帮他拖。
脸上2个人。
Oh no, not like this. Oh no. I mean, that's absurd from DRG. Like, the fact that they're the ones that made it. I don't think anybody would have guessed. I don't think anybody would have guessed that they would have been the ones to make Ascension. Oh man, I feel so bad for Rare Atom. Oh, one of them is just broken down. Yeah, I mean, somebody should definitely just pick up the whole squad. Now, you don't need to worry about, okay, who do you keep out of Yeoman, who do you keep out of Stew? I think, like, everybody should be putting offers in for Rare Atom plus Stew and then just get another IGL. All Gamers, I think, would also be a really good team to pick up these kind of guys. I mean, it took, like, cojones, I suppose, for Rare Atom to run ISO in a map like that. I don't think that was the reason why they lost. Not at all. It's just that, like, ISO seems to be one of those ones that's, like, even if you play him well, it just doesn't seem to have, like, the biggest impact in the world. Oh, they're all, like, teary-eyed. The downside for it, I think, overall, too, is you have, like, this, where Rare Atom were, like, consistently top 2, top 3 team in the year, and they pretty much dominant all the way through Ascension until they lose the grand final. Same as Apex. The problem that I'm worried about is that OG see this and go, well, there's no point in investing in Ascension, because we could have the best team in the world, and if they lose that last grand final, it's all for nothing. What happens to DRG? Xeno dropped. I guess that's the one good thing about this team too, is you have 2 players in that core that have just come onto the team. So you could change them out for better players or more experienced players from various squads. Oh, is Xeno, where's Xeno from? Yeah, like, if it's between Vukashu and any of the other players, you're keeping Vukashu. Don't get me wrong, I'm so happy for DRG. Like, if there was a team that was going to surprise, it was going to be them. But at the same time, like, I'm so sad for Rare Atom. Like, it sucks so much for them to be this good consistently and then lose one series and be out and to be done. Yeah, I mean, Apex is the other example of that. Like, I think part of me, and I mean this in the nicest way, I think part of me will always hate Gentlemates. Like, if Gentlemates was, like, bottom of the league 0 and 11 or 0 and 10, like, I'd be happy if they had a DFM kind of series. Not because of anything to do with them. Like, for one, I love Existence. I think he was a fantastic player, a fantastic mind, and he's going to be a fantastic coach. And I like a lot of the French players that are on that roster, but I love Apex, man. Even M8 in Americas, I feel like the guard was consistently better, but I might be wrong. I might be remembering that wrong. Yeah, that's also the other annoying thing about it, Bojan, is just reap in the hype, right? Like, I don't think there's any excuse to not play off-season events. Even if you lose all of them, it doesn't matter. Like, sure, there'll be people that will say, like, oh, this team did badly in the off-season, they're going to be trash next year, and people are going to shit-talk you and all that kind of stuff. But, like, look at FUT. Like, people will be like, oh, you could be like 100 Thieves, where you win, like, big events in the off-season, and then you go into the main season of 2023, and you look really iffy. But then you have the opposite, where you have FUT. FUT were atrocious in the off-season last year. Like, they went out last pretty much every single chance that they had. But they became one of the best teams at EMEA. And they started the season for EMEA. Like, lock-in was poor from them. I'm pretty sure they ran into, like, Evil Geniuses first, was it? I think they got more unlucky with their bracket mod than anything, but when they actually hit, like, the EMEA season, it was great. Everybody expected M80 Odegaard to win. Yeah, nobody expected DRG and Mix to win. M80 won both challenges, but I guess that's true. I think the gap between M80, the guard, and Moist was pretty tight, though, in the end, wasn't it? Like, all three teams could beat each other. So, the games are done. It's 1:45. I don't really have anything else that I want to be doing today. So I am kind of tempted to actually go and watch the first two maps, seeing as we missed them. So I can't really say M80 shot like Apex or Raritan did. Yeah, it was always going to be like a close tournament series. And especially when you had like some of the other, I can't remember the name of the team. Was it 9Z? Like one of the Brazilian Latin America teams. Like you actually had some like really good competition from outside of Americas. It ended up being the Guard and M80 in the final, but there were a couple of maps dropped and stuff, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, I think Raritan came in very well planned. I don't know, like I don't know DRG well enough to know who's who, other than obviously who Vukashu is. Is there pictures on? Yeah, there is. Well, Vukashu, I know. Yuchen, black hair with a fringe. Nick, Luke. Was it Luke that was just talking? Zero Nation, yeah. I watched a lot of Zero Nation because they had some like really good ideas, I think. The Apex game, I don't quite remember to say whether they shot or not. I think that they... I missed it on the day, but after watching it back, I'd say that they probably did. I actually cannot believe it. Oh yeah, you got the credits as well. They did this for Evolution series too. I didn't expect anything like this, me neither. I think the problem is like when you say that a team chokes, there naturally comes that addition that Team A choked, so Team A choked, therefore Team B didn't deserve the win. Or Team B didn't play well enough to win. It was all on Team A losing and Team B winning. Which I don't like. You can have a team choke and the other team could also play out of this world. Like both can be true. Yeah, I saw the Apex documentary. I don't know if I saw Pavlos's. Yeah, I did. I watched one of them. I think I watched Pavlos's and not the other one. But yeah, I mean, if people want to, we can rewatch the first two maps, seeing as we missed them. I think it's also like DRG gambled with the veto and it ended up working out. Oh, they actually did the anime shot at the start as well. That's funny. They did it in the first round and the last round of today. I don't think Rare Atom choked. I mean, I haven't seen this map. They're going to be mad because they lost Ascent, and that was, like, overtime close. Like, so not only is it just, like, they lost the lead on Bind. They got battered on this map, so it's kind of hard to say. Well, like, they were in pole position on Bind, and it ended up slipping out, but also they went to overtime on Ascent, which they had definitely opportunities to win. Like, there's definitely elements of Rare Atom letting the occasion get the better of them. They played the occasion, not the game, I'd say. They could consistently outplayed. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna like just watch these first two maps, even if I just blast through them. So on that, I'm going to run some ads, go for a quick bio break, and then blast through this. So you're more than welcome to like stick around and watch this if you missed it this morning. Just because I want to catch up on my own. Sliggy, thank you very much for the raid. I am going to run ads though on everybody. I'm so sorry. And it's actually not a terrible raid because I'm going to watch the first two maps because I missed them. So if you missed the first two maps of this series this morning, hang around because this should be a good one. We love ads. Yeah, I just don't want people to get the ads when they join naturally. Get that bag. I wish I could like not have ads run at all, but that's just the fucking way that this website is, isn't it? But yeah, sorry. Be right back. There we go. I'm not that surprised that Screaming Navira won't be in tier 1. Yeah, me neither. I mean, I imagine for like Scream's salary as well, that's like it's going to be hard for a lot of Ogs to warrant that with his form as well. Like Navira maybe could be a like decent pickup, but there's just better players, more consistent ones, probably cheaper ones as well. Yeah, I mean, I think you could probably say all of Rare Atom. Hope a new talent to take over. Am I allowed to say a controversial Valorant opinion here? Yeah, go for it. I mean, unless it's like no racism or sexism or anything like that. You made it like the fact that you said it's not TOS in brackets makes me think that it's like you're gonna say something just out of pocket. I mean, yeah, I think if you're like if you're an org that doesn't really have like a proper Valorant team, I say proper, but like, I ain't that guy good. I think in regards to like All Gamers, Wolves, those teams that made partnership that weren't really competitive in Evolution, like you could just pick up Rare Atom and just not pick up Yeoman and pick up another IGL. Like, I think you pick up Viva especially. I think you pick up Yihao. Martin, I've not really been that sold on. I think he's been, like, the weaker link. And Yeoman, I think he's a good IGL. But if you have to pick between him and Stu, it's Stu every day. It's Stu every fucking day. Scream is one of the players of all time. That's pretty much apt. It also did help that the paranoia was a little bit high there. Do you think Scream could be an upgrade as a duelist in your Gentlemates? I can't remember off the top of my head who's playing duelist for them at the moment. Why did they decide to not play map 5? Well, I mean, because it was 1. So it was Takas. I mean, Takas has his moments. I think the only frustrating thing that I've had with Takas in the past is just when, like, BDS and the various other French teams that he's been on with, like Logan and stuff. Just him, like, he'll play at Omen one map and then Phoenix on another, and then, like, I have a pet peeve, I think, of teams that have a player that just changes role for no rhyme or reason. Thoughts on buying Gentlemates merch? I mean, it's pretty good, like, design stuff. Retrospective lost a lot of pistols today as well, right? That's what somebody else said to me. But it's also like, if you're Gentlemates, you want to go into this league, like, Takas is going to be cheaper than Scream and can do that role. And clearly he's got good rapport, I think, with Existence. Whereas I don't know if Existence or Scream do even like each other, I don't know. They probably know of each other. I don't know if they've ever played on the same team, actually. Like, for CS, I mean. I know they haven't in Overwatch, in Valorant. Scream used to play with him back in the day. Okay, that's interesting. Who's going to replace Xeno? I mean, they brought Xeno in for this event alone. I don't know if Maizy's still on this team or not. But what else was Xeno playing? He was mostly playing, like, you could pick up Yihao, honestly. If Yihao would go, I think he was been good. I think controller players are weird because there's not a player that didn't make Ascension controller-wise that isn't an IGL that I'm like, oh my god, this guy's great. Maybe W's Leo. It was on LGD and then on... Who were they on in the end? 4am, I think. Scream on Widow. Scream in Overwatch, imagine. I mean, it'd be great. It'd be like Big Boss Pine. Do we already know the results, or is VLR wrong? On this series, we know the results. I just missed the first 2 maps. It would be better to have dedicated players for their respective roles, right? Or am I just dumb? It depends. I feel like we're having like 5 or 6 different discussions at once. I'm trying to work out. Are you talking about like Takas and Gentlemates, or DRG's like role issue? Because I think you could sort of work it out either way. I think with how nascent the China scene is, though, you can get away with like pretty major role shifts a lot more often. I think it is better to play like consistent roles. Like Viva, playing? I think he played a bit of Sova, played Jet, played ISO, played Viper, all in this one series. And it just, I think it works fine for Rare Atom because it's clearly been working results-wise. But I do think that you're setting up Viva to be really inconsistent across the series. Went from 23 views to 1,000 committed conversation. I had to follow it. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Sliggy just has a bad habit. Well, he's only done it once, so I don't want to call it a habit. But the times that he's hosted me have been literally when I'm ending. So I was like, I do kind of want to watch the first map at the very least again. And then... because I watched the second half of Ascent. Granted, I was like half asleep. But I think that Rare Atom losing this map was the real shock. Watchparty, your opinion. Love your insight in the Chinese scene, by the way. Thank you. I haven't been streaming Ascension that much because I don't think anybody actually got proper permissions to do China Ascension. I think we were all just kind of winging it. And also just assuming, like, oh, because we did Evolution, it'd be fine to do. Hindsight, I probably should have just taken the risk. And just done, because I was very close to going live for the day one. Because day one and, yeah, day one was the 23rd. Day 2 was Christmas Eve, which I would have done. Day 3 was on Christmas, which I wouldn't have done. And then, yeah. 27th, I was still at my girlfriend's house. And I was like, well, I haven't streamed it so far. That's the problem I have. It's like, oh, I missed the first day. I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit streaming. I'm that kind of person that's like, oh, I messed up my... I'm going to go into New Year's with a diet. Have a takeaway on the 2nd of January. Have to wait till 1st of Jan 2025. Start the diet again. Oh, that's actually something that I was curious about. Like, so DRG run double initiate with Cypher. Is that what they ran before? Because if they didn't, I think that this is a great, like, change. Where is it split? They did, but they changed the jet instead. So, I mean, it's a crazy turnaround for them to also be like... They started on defense against Rare Atom last time and went 1-11. They were able to do a bit more, but they started attack this time too. So they changed a different side, and it was also sad that they went 3-9 against attacking Solon. What team will rival EDG in China, in your opinion? It's so hard to say because there's so... Like, I'll show you what I have so far, if I have it. Like, there's some teams just... I think FPX are probably not going to change anything. EDG are not going to change anything. Trace, they could, but I'm not 100% too sure. BLG, I think they should. I think they should drop Rin and get somebody else in. But again, it's like a controller player, so what are you going to manage? All of these teams, I think JDG is putting together something individually and doing it that way. The rumor was always that JDG would pick up a team like Trace if they didn't make Ascension. But there seems to be rumors of, like, they're picking up Mr. Canny and stuff like that. So they might be just adding individual spots. Tech had, like, a pretty okay team. They had some good players on it, so I imagine they pick up individuals as well. Tyloo, probably more of the same. Wolves, they were never really close to doing anything in Ascension, so I think they should just go to their roster, pick up a full 5-stack if they can. Nova and All Gamers probably the same. We can actually now say that this is DRG, which is pretty much perfect for the colors. So, like, this is also sort of like what I had before for some of the teams. Just been chipping away at this when I get it. But I think for actual squads to rival them, I think FPX have been starting to look really, really good, like from Evolution series. I think individually they have a really good squad. I don't think there's anybody there that I'd realistically change. It could depend on the meta too, though, because like TZH just pretty much exclusively played Viper, I'm pretty sure. So if Viper gets gutted before next year's season starts, maybe getting somebody else that can play Viper, but also like Breach and KO and Double Initiator kind of stuff, maybe. BLG always has promise, but they've been changing who's IGLing out of these two. They also changed their coach, and since then they've not looked great. And like I said, I haven't rated Rin at all on this roster. And I also haven't really rated YZ. Like, since... Like, we've all known from, like, Champions and the stuff he was doing, especially with the Judge. But realistically, I don't think it's really been as good as what Kang has been doing, what Autumn has been doing. Even what Kai's been doing and Fung, whilst they've been, like, flexing roles. I'd probably say Trace is... I think Trace is better than most teams at the moment. So I think it's between FPX and Trace. But it also does depend on who's going to pick up, if anybody, Rare Atom, who's going to just make good individual roster moves. Like, at this point, it is purely impossible to say. I mean, there is also a risk that EDG don't make it, because they have had teams really getting close to them. They're playing another event at the end of January before the season starts. Like, they haven't got good rest, and they've also been showing a lot of stuff too. So I don't even think it's a cut and dry EDG are going to make it for China either. This is a round where, like, Nick still just did a sheriff and stuff, right? Also, this is like a sort of good vibe, I think, for stuff at the moment. Just like watching along. I sort of know, I know the result anyway. I know the scoreline, what the score was at halftime and stuff. But just being able to talk along whilst I'm like watching it. Was there any rounds from this game that people were like, there's a really good round in Split somewhere? Like a clutch or just some hijinks? So I missed this one completely. All 5 players in B pick up the orb and leave. They're going to Skydog or Flash mid, or neither, or both. They get smoked off, so that's a good enough cue to just put up the orb, snake bite it. Orb goes down, you can Astra Smoke, all good. Yeah, timing's fine. To see Yeoman just actually, like, full-on sprint. He was in male and he just runs to B to flash B main. He does connect. Great play from Nick, actually, there. Like, builds enough pressure that it forces the Viper away from mid, so they'd have to rotate all the way around. And then just goes and peeks the player in male. I think Nick had a really good series today. I think his individual performances looked a lot better, but I think his IGL has also looked good too. Like, the general mid-round calls I think that we've seen from DRG looked a lot better than Rare Atoms today. What's the latest you've heard on Pancada versus Com on Leviathan? The same as everybody else, right? I'd say for Americas, that's the region that I'm, like, full honesty, care about the least. Especially when it comes to, like, roster rumors, I'm just, like... Even for, like, roster rumors in other regions, like, with, like, where Trex is going, I'm just a bit, like... I'll think about it more when it actually happens. Spoilers improve enjoyment of watching, and more importantly, allow better understanding of what one is watching. I think it depends on the person, really. I definitely think I'd be paying more attention to a lot of the individual things if this was live and I didn't know the score. And also me just watching along like this, I don't really do too much anyway. I don't know how to describe it. Like, when I'm VOD reviewing, I'm very... not watching it round per round. I'm, like, looking for specific things. So I'll literally just skip through round. Get everything that I need for this particular thing. You know, like, go get all of the ecos, and then get all of the anti-ecos, and then get all of the full buys. So I'm not really watching this from an analytical perspective either. I guess I'm just experiencing it. Just so I know what the hell I'm talking about to an extent.
对，这一把的最大的伏笔就是这个惊雷卷，这首先是没卷到，对，其次就是第二颗舌吻，他技能这一波没有骗完。
I think the best way that I can describe it is like, if I know the results, I'm not watching, I'm more observing. Whereas if I don't know the results, like, you're not even, like, you're involved, you're like emotionally involved. Yeah, that's the tricky thing, Breeze, is like trying to get them, especially when it's like preparing for working on a broadcast like EMEA. VOD reviewing is always kind of tricky because you're naturally gonna like look at the stats, like, okay, what maps do they play, what maps do they win, what maps do they pick, what maps do they ban, and then you go and actually VOD review the maps specifically. It does kind of take a bit of the magic out of it, I suppose. Like, you look at it in a very dry, black and white kind of way. I think that's why you also just get like a lot of like analysis, not only from like, other people but myself. Like, it's very devoid of emotion. Like, oh, DRG or Rare Atom are amazing on split. They shouldn't have lost this, because you're looking at the maps that are picked, the maps that are banned and stuff. And you're not really thinking about, well, how did they lose this? It's a very, like, I think naturally is a very results-based way of thinking in Valorant still. Especially for teams, because you have stuff like Run It Back, you have stuff like Augment that can get you all of this data. Run It Back especially, like, you can see how many times... like, DRG's post-plant win rate on B after they plant is 76%. That's amazing. It's like, yeah, but why? Are they only just going B because they're on an anti-eco? So their win rate is always that good because when they plant on B, they always have guns and the enemy doesn't. I feel like we've ended up on a very off-topic conversation. Do we know when VCT begins? I'm pretty sure it's the start of Feb. Or like start mid-Feb. Like week 2 maybe. I think that's the thing that I did wrong the most when I was working on broadcasts. Like, I didn't really talk about why. I also think people are too scared to have an opinion sometimes. Like, definitely myself included. Like, everything I think I said about on a broadcast was very... This is the comp that they play. These are the stats on how good they are on this map. And, like, if they have a weird comp, I'd never be like, I like it or I don't like it. I'd just be like, this is the comp that they play. I mean, the post plants have been really good here from DRG. Did they have a Guardian there? They did, didn't they? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I thought for some reason I thought Yeehao had a rifle. I think it's just that skin. I mean, you look at the kill feed, it's like Xeno's doing well, Lucas doing well. I think this was one of the maps where like Viva performed strongly. There was like a big disparity, I think, with the amount of like kills at least that Rare Atom were getting from the top to the bottom. Like, I think Martin had quite a low amount in the end, and Yeoman was like -11. That might have been Ascent actually that he was -11 on.
来了，防守必打前压。
但是这个山峰地线第一时间是没有震到，
穿到一发头，穿到一发头。
吃到了闪，队伍现在这个位置有点尴尬，但自己的队友补枪很快，哇，甚至还要吃个球，胆大心细。
哦，这一分其实一开始
Good fight for B main.
其实反而是回去了，应该是 Luke 他吃了一发穿板。
I think this was just smart for DRG to pick attack first. Defending with double duelist is just really hard. I think Martin definitely has looked uncomfortable. Thanks for the stream, Ryan. Cheers, Magnum. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I mean, I think most people have probably seen this game already, so I'm like, figured like there'd be some people that got up late like myself who are interested in seeing how this went.
那接下来这个难题就抛给了 DRG。如果对面再打前压，不管是 A 区还是 B 区的前压，你要怎么去应对？我们看到进攻局又是抬出来，但这样的话，这第二把进攻局也是极大的影响到了队伍的整体经济。哦，有可能 B 打第一时间就有一个对枪。
I'd say one of the players that's had like the biggest glow up in Evolution series. I was gonna say Luke, and then he just got killed. But I think Luke has turned from like a pretty hot and cold duelist for DRG to like a consistent performer. I don't think it's like better than Stu, but I'd like probably say that Luke is like on par with people like Kai at the moment from Trace. I think Nick has improved a massive amount, and Vukashi has always been this good. But it started from Vukashi just literally playing on a site on his own on defense because this is the thing. For those that don't know, DRG common Chinese, which Vukashi doesn't speak. So when the players want to speak to Vukashi, they'll speak to him in English, but otherwise they'll come in Chinese. So a lot of the time, Vukashi is just doing his own thing. Like, he's left to his own devices. So, it's not like FPX where they come in English because of Autumn. Like, they come in Chinese, and then Vukashi just has to deal with it. Might be different now with Zeno coming in. And maybe that's why they made some of the roster changes, because Maizy and Xion, I thought they maybe got picked up, but it could be that they don't speak great English. So they brought in two players that do speak good English, and they come in English now. Yeah, Nick is... This has been Nick's map. Could have been Nick's series, actually. Didn't even plant. He was buns on Lotus, though. You get 13-0'd. Everybody looks buns. Was it, They were rare item on defense, weren't they? I think playing Fade on attack when you're running at Fnatic comp is really hard, though. I don't think they played the comp very well. It was just a non-involved, non-factor. Like, I don't think I ever saw a Haunt connect onto it. Oh, no, I did. On the A executes. Sometimes a Haunt would connect. But, otherwise, yeah. I think it's mostly because, mostly Rare Atom were, like, holding on A aggressively. And DRG never went to C. Okay, your man's kind of stuck. Just hit by so much stuff. What do you think is the best Lotus comp? I've always thought Astra Sky, Raze, Viper, Killjoy. I've gone back and forth on it. I think for Lotus, you have a lot more freedom to experiment than people assume. Yeah, Lotus and China VCT is 10-2 minimum on defense, or you've lost. I think mostly it is attack. Lotus is an attack-sided map anyway, but on China it's like tenfold. So the fact that Rare Atom have like a perfect defense is very surprising. But I think it's more Rare Atom are great on this map. Like their protocols, like the way that they adjust and move around on the map is good. I think there were definitely some gaps the DRG just didn't exploit. Like they definitely should have gone C a lot more than they did. Because if you have the Viper on Lotus playing on A, and it's just a Killjoy over here, and the Killjoy turret was on B most of the time, so it was just like an alarm bot sort of towards elbow. I think that's one that, like, if you're DRG, you watch it back, you go, oh, we didn't realize that we had so much freedom on C. Instead, they just kind of tried to bull their way through A, or make that pivot to B. A lot of close rounds, though. I know it was a 13-0, and it's a little bit embarrassing to lose those. But there was definitely occasions where DRG were favorites to win a round, and they just didn't. I think it's fair to say you're not going to see a like a grand final series like that again, where one team gets 13-0, but they win all of the other maps. It's Planet for Heaven, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially if it was like, if Rare Atom had won Ascent in overtime, and then Rare Atom won 13-0 on Lotus, I think we would have had a very different looking DRG going on to Bind. But considering they won 2 maps, and it's like the map pick of Rare Atom, you're just like, oh, whatever. We pick Bind, we'll play it. We go to Sunset, we haven't played it on officials before, but we know what Rare Atom do, and we have a good idea what we're going to try and do as well. It is also kind of interesting that, like, Rare Atom, like, kudos to them for, like, picking the ISO on Bind in a series and map like that. Like, it's such a risk. Naturally, it's such a risk. And I wouldn't necessarily say that they lost because of the ISO. I do think that Stu playing Jet kind of boxed him in a little. And it put way too much pressure on him to, like, get the operator. And then when he did have the operator, to make use of it. On defense, at least. Because he did pick up the operator, like, a good few rounds, but missed a lot of crucial shots. And lost a lot of duels with it. So, like, upping with Raze is hard, but even if you don't have the operator, there's still so much you can do. Naturally, just the utility is too good on that map. Also, I feel like stuff like this happened all of the time, too. I feel like every time that Rare Atom won a pistol, they didn't always lose the round afterwards. They didn't always get thriftied, but it was always close. Oh, my auto mod grabbed what somebody said. It was in Cyrillic, but it got flagged for misogyny. Oh, because it was Psyker. I see. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Are you going to relocate to China or just cover Valorant China? I don't know what my year looks like next year. Like, I'd love to cast... If there is, like, a China broadcast, I'd love to work it in English. But with everything that's happened with the LPL this year, and with there being like an esports winter, it wouldn't surprise me if Riot just decided to go, we're going to just send out a clean feed and people can watch party it. In some senses, I think it's a good idea for Riot to do that, because people can just watch it and then everybody else can like watch party it. Save a lot of money and you'd still get like a market share on it. And China's not really bothered about. So the problem, to go over what's happening with LPL for those who don't know, sorry to be distracting. So the LPL was run by TJ Esports, which is kind of like, it's a TO in China, but it is effectively Riot's TO. So like it's a separate entity, but this is kind of Riot, at least for China. So TJ Esports run the LPL, and they also ran the China broadcast for Evolution Series, and I think this too. And they're probably going to run the broadcast side of stuff for China next year. But TJ Esports, they had an English broadcast for the LPL. It used to be done out of China, but since COVID, it's now just done online. But this year, TJ Esports said we're not doing an English broadcast anymore. It costs too much money. They don't work to get sponsorships for the English broadcast. They just, because they do the broadcast obviously in like Chinese as well, where they have sponsors and all this kind of stuff. But for English, they've not tried to monetize it at all, really. So they're like, we're not doing it anymore. So it can either go one or two ways for the LPL next year, which is that another, like Riot take it in-house, because Riot do have like broadcast studios now. They have the Striker one, which is in Dublin, which is where stuff like parts of the international events are done from here, and EMEA is done from here. But like Game Changers for EMEA is done exclusively out of Dublin because it's online. I think there's one in, might be Atlanta, I think. Or is it West Coast? I can't remember which city it is, but they have one in NA as well. So Riot can just do the broadcast themselves through their studios in Dublin or in NA, or they'll get like a third-party TO to do it. And then Riot would give them, in the same way that like Polaris was ran by ProMod and now it's run by Mist. The DAC, VCL even is done by Freaks for You, who were the TO for EMEA last year. So that's kind of the direction. Or Riot can just decide to go like clean feed, let people watch party it. Also, there was the LPL problem where there's some law in China where they're not allowed to show like K-pop broadcasts. And because Worlds this year had like a K-pop thing in it, and TJ broadcasted it live, they're in a lot of trouble now, I think, with the Chinese government. So what might be happening is that there might be like a delayed stream, in which case the games aren't live for the LPL. They're like maybe a couple of hours later for both China and English broadcasts, I think, if there is one. So yeah, for China next year, it can either be like an actual English broadcast, which would be great, or it can be just watch parties. Which I would hope it'd be this one, because I'd love to work on this broadcast. But even if I didn't work on this broadcast, like you're still hiring like 6 people full-time to do this job talent-wise. So that could be a lot of people that aren't really in EMEA, that aren't really in NA or any other regions, that could get the chance to do a tier 1 side of event, get experience. And then people like Sliggy and all those of us that do watch parties can still do watch parties, they'll just do it on English broadcast. So, you know, we always get watch parties no matter what, but it'd be nice to have an English broadcast so people can like get the chance to work. But obviously it's going to cost Riot or whoever TOs it a lot more to do it. Oh, never mind. Last round wasn't an anti-eco. It wasn't a thrifty, it was just a bonus. Yeah, 13, 14, 15. So yeah, so there's a full buy here. My bad, I read it wrong. Oh, Vukashi gets such a good time in there. I think that's an underrated bit of Vukashi's playstyle, is how quickly he can get a kill and how quickly he ultimates. Like, I swear it's just in one, like, swooping motion. This was a nice play with a dog, because the stun still gets him. Even with the nerf to it, it still gets him. I watch. Instant. There's maybe some elements where he doesn't need to do it, but I think it's always like... It's like he top decks his ultimate. He just gets it and uses it. Which is good. Hey Poppy, do you think the recent gamer restrictions is going to be an issue too for Chinese scene as a whole? So I think the more recent restrictions they have is more to like mobile games and the money that people can spend on them. Which honestly, those kind of restrictions should be global, right? Great paranoia. Flash isn't great, just from where Nick is. And then 2v2, sorry. They're slowly being restricting hours for like gaming cafes and stuff too. Yeah, I mean, I know that there was stuff with like younger, like under 16s, like playing an hour of video games a day and stuff. But the problem is you hear news like that and then it just turns out not to be that case. EU ban loot boxes in CS. I mean, more for mobile games. I think like gacha games, like more could be done there, I think. Because it tells you chances of getting stuff, but it's still... There's a lot of predatory stuff in those games I don't like. I think there's just a lot of predatory stuff with like mobiles anyway. Like, I think a big one that not many people talk about is I think the, like, fast food apps can be really, really evil with that kind of stuff. Like, you get promotion notifications that you can't actually turn off, because if you turn off notifications, you don't get notifications for, like, promotions. Sure, but you also don't get notifications for when your driver's nearby or when they're like on their way. So if you have to have notifications on, which you kind of do, you have to have promotions on too. But also, those promotion notifications happen roughly at times where on average you get takeaway, or maybe 30 minutes to an hour before. Hell, you might even say, I'm hungry, and you might get a notification within 5 to 10 minutes, be like, oh, hey. I went having lunch. No, this is the first map. It's over. It's done. I was just rewatching the first map again. I mean, it's just all sort of falling apart. Ended in a 3-1, it did, yeah. The, oh, this has got stuck again. Bind was a lot of fun to watch. This map has been... I was expecting like a little bit more shock factor, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's a dominant scoreline, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't say the DRG have done anything crazy until now. I think Rare Atom just haven't really been able to get in anywhere. Like, they've rarely gone like A, just straight on an, I mean, on an A execute. Been a while since I played Valorant and consumed Valo content. Yeah, I mean, I think Valorant's in like a good place at the moment. I mean, it's quiet for sure. It's a bit of a honeymoon season. I think is over. The honeymoon season is over. It's just the game is in its natural lifespan right now. But it is funny when I see like content creators be like, "Oh yeah, Valorant's like dead," and it's usually like, you know, the streams and like the YouTube videos aren't doing as well as they used to. But if you're calling this era of Valorant like a dead game, I think for one you're an idiot, because I think the game is still doing fine. But also, go to Overwatch, try to... Oh my god, okay, yeah, that was more in line with what I was thinking of, like crazy stuff. Like Valorant, between when Overwatch 2 was announced and Overwatch 2 coming out, that was a dead game. That was nothing of value there. Hey Sims Z, I guess it would be. All right, I mean, I don't, after watching it, I still don't really know what to make of it. Like, I feel like it was just incredibly like dominant. Like, there was no plants at all, I don't think, other than maybe like the pistol. So they did get anti-code here, and yeah, okay. But otherwise, it was just like clutches and stuff like that to go through. We did well. We don't have like the first kills, first deaths. Maybe we can like grab it in the like analyst thing. Here we go. So Luke got a lot of first kills. Stu got a lot of first kills. Wait, was the thing before or is it after? Yeah, there we go. So there's a lot of runs where like Rare Atom got the first kill and just couldn't really do much with it. DRG's post plants were just way too strong on their attack side. And Rare Atom, they won the rounds where they planted, which was the pistol and then around later on. But otherwise, they actually just couldn't get the spike down. Like, they weren't playing post plants, they were just getting shut down as they were trying to get in. So yeah, I guess that's a surprise, really. Wait, what time is it? Have to... We'll, blast through this as much as possible. And then we can just... Because it was actually quite quick to get through Split. Wasn't like this was an overtime map, but I did see the end of it, so I'm not too sure how I want to approach it. Because this was also a lot closer. Also, I think it's a case of like if I'm like VOD reviewing this to an extent, I'd be more inclined for like, okay, if DRG won this, they got kind of demolished the last time that they played Split against Attacking Soul. I'd probably watch both of the maps like together and be like, okay, what did they like change? What did they do? I need to actually learn a lineup for that one. Actually, I want to check something real quick. Sorry. I'm starting this again. Okay, knife gets 2 there. So they're going for like an A split. You made the mistake of watching Sideshow till 6 AM on Baldur's Gate. I thought he'd be streaming today. I don't think he streamed yesterday either, right? Sorry, I'm looking for where he recon darts. Oh, has he used it already? No, Dingwei still has it. The Eldron close. He still has a recon. One sec. He went to stay up and watch a game and said he would wake up for this again after 3 hours sleep. He did not. I mean, it's going to be a series that he might be kicking himself for missing. Oh, so this is the first recon that Dingwei uses. It's just a heaven one. I think Vukashu just didn't realize he was out there for a second. I think overall, post plants have been good from DRG today. I think that's probably one of the main helps. Which, again, kind of explains why, like, if they plant the spike down, the win rate for them goes up dramatically. If it gets shut down early, then it feels done so. Okay, Viva, nice. I mean, it gets traded anyway. What's the util like? I'm trying to learn like more Cypher stuff. But I generally don't think Dingwei uses his recon at the start of a round. Which isn't too surprising. Especially when people are just fighting like that. And then Viva used one that like bounces to here. Right now it's just DRG just fighting A main. Good flash. Great flash actually from Nick. This is a really awkward fight. He's dead. Shook that, right? Shook that didn't kill him. Stu's still alive. Eventually he's taken out. So this is Rare Atom trying to fight for... Oh, he even gets hit by the Aldron at the end. Oh, nice movement actually from Vukashu. Tries to catch him out and stuff. There we go. I'm hearing a washing machine or something in the background. I think it's the air fryer, right? Yeah, I fixed it though. I should really buy an air fryer. I think we should use ours more, I think. It's quite good. Beth was just asking how everybody was. Will she make some cheese on toast? Yeah, I need to sort out lunch, I think. I haven't eaten anything yet. So DRG win a pistol and a bonus. I mean, they're literally just 4-1 defaulted towards A each time. Cheese Toasty goes hard. I've never been that much of a fan of him. I think Yeah. I'm not against him. I'm just not got a personal vendetta against cheese toasties. Yeah. But I guess because like when we got the air fryer, like we put the toaster away, so we don't toast as much bread anymore. It's a real sad debate. Good fights from Rare Atom. So it's a 1 versus 2. Both these players are not on site. So I started tuning in from halftime. So I missed this first half too. Oh, nice try. Didn't really get the damage onto Yeoman, so definitely very like iffy rounds, I think. But like I like the way the Viva took that fight there. And I don't think Luke would have gone for the... Was it Luke? Yeah, I don't think Luke would have gone for the repeak if he knew that Yihao was on that angle too. He just saw the Yeoman just did a sheriff and was like, I'm going to repeak him and just win that fight. And then, oh, shit, Yihao's there too. Same default again from DRG. And because it's Ascent, Rare Atom are playing in the exact same way that most teams would anyway. I don't know why you wouldn't play the Jet over towards A initially at this point anyway. Well, you could just hunt this Fury like that and catch Luke. You want to show it? Yeah. I mean, it makes it harder. I mean, that's the twisting question. Well, it's just cheese and bread. There's got to be a way of doing it. It's the only negative is just that it doesn't toast bread very well. Makes me sad like seeing stuff like some of the things that Viva and Stu that what they've been doing. Makes me sad that we're not gonna potentially not see them next year. Surely we do. Surely they get picked up, but maybe not played together. I'd love to see those two like stay on a squad together. Like quite literally, any team should be looking at picking up Viva because he's like one of the more flexible players that we have in the scene. So it's just a win-win. Actually change up the default now that Rare Atom have been winning some rounds. I still got the KO doing a knife over towards A. Omen lurking over there too. But everybody else was just on B. Yeah, bags are being mailed to the players as we speak, yeah. Would surprise me if you've got like some of the partnership org people at Ascension. So literally as Rare Atom come off the stage, you got somebody from All Gamers there being like, hey, unlucky, wanna come play for us? I guess it's sad for Rare Atom as an organization to not make it. But I mean, in the nicest possible way, there was surely something wrong with them for them to not make partnership. The toaster is toasting. Just turned around and the toaster's just like piling up smoke. I know. I know, burning down the flat to just have a good cheese toasty, it's worthwhile. DRG are very solid org as well. They have a spot in KPL and have a fancy training center. Yeah, I think for DRG it's probably just that they're... It seems like Riot wanted it to be like a 50-50 between some of the traditional LPL orgs and then some orgs that are definitely mobile games, because that's going to be a thing in Valorant at some point relatively soon from the sounds of it. Because if you can get orgs like Tech in that are very... I'm trying to think of the other like ones. I had this before. But generally what the orgs are known for, I think it's where is it? There we go. You wanted to show the thingy now? You want me to do what? Scrape? How do you scrape it to show the crisp? Like it's some like ASMR kind of shit.
Yeah, that cheese.
No.
Which cheese?
Whereabouts is it? Is it on that side?
No.
Yeah. Like that. I can't do it on that side. I can't do it this way around.
Oh my God, just hold it like you would a sandwich.
Like that.
Like that. Like,
Oh yeah, I see, like that. There you go. There you got the ASMR scrape. Like that.
yeah, but that's not.
Sorry, I did it wrong. I'm not an ASMR expert. It seems if those hogs don't invest in Valorant mobile kind of things. Exactly. So I had it on here. Like this was before like teams were like in. This is sad to look back at in all thingies. But like also known for like Dota because this was VG Gaming before Rare Atom. Like Trace and stuff in Crossfire. Also Trace have been pretty early involved people in Wild Rift. I'm pretty sure. So this might be wrong. This might be like it's like really no followers at all on Weibo in comparison to Rare Atom. Bye Beth. Love you. So you got like FPX that are from League that have been around for ages. That's not too much of a surprise. Attacking Soul, not really that big. Not really that big in any other games. BLG made partnership. RNG disbanded because they didn't make it in. Yeah, Arena of Valor. And like 1.8 million followers on Weibo is pretty major. Bye Cheese Lady. I saw the news and thought I was still dreaming. Yeah, I mean, it's another crazy Ascension final that went the way that most people were expecting. Trace is owned by Trace Media. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, like some of these, like All Gamers, they were in League. They were Anyone's Legends in LPL. Wolves, Arena of Valor is a pretty major one for them. They won the finals. They won the Call of Duty mobile finals, didn't they, this year too? So things are going very well for them as an organization. I'm really surprised that Lean In Gaming didn't get in because I mean it's a massive apparel company. And they're in League. They have a lot of money. Who else made it? Nova made it. They were like in Wild Rift as well, and PUBG Mobile. So these orgs like Nova, Wolves, probably who else? Tech, PUBG Mobile as well. Like they're all orgs that Riot would want to get into VCT because they're big followings from other types of esports, but also they may be involved in LPL in the future. They might buy a slot there. And they also might get involved in the Valorant mobile scene early on. Valorant mobile will be an interesting thing. Like, I wonder if surely there'll be esports events for that, but I don't know who, would they just use normal talent and casters for it, or would there be some differentiating factor to playing Valorant mobile? It means that you'd have to follow that scene keenly, and so you couldn't really do both of them. It's a very odd situation, but that might be something. So DRG shut down. Rare Atom have like made good adjustments here, just without having to need to time out. it's French all over again. Yeah, it's sad for Aratim for sure. Okay, the audio is out of sync. Don't watch the mobile esport ever. I watched a little bit of the Call of Duty mobile thing. The viewership wasn't great on it. But I don't know if the viewership was one of those like fantastic in China or on other streaming things, but on Twitch it wasn't great. But I don't know the viewership for Wild Rift. I know that the esports scene is kind of dead in the water. But it's very like sort of Eastern Asia focused. Oh yeah, that'd be funny. I'll just imagine somebody like Scream just going over to playing it on mobile. Okay, Vikashu wins those. Again, like just DRG post plants. Hard to stop them. A good positioning. But I mean, Brawl Stars, like, I played a little bit of Brawl Stars. Because the game, like, character and ability based games like that, I really like. That's why I'm sort of drawn to, like, Overwatch and Valorant 2. Like, each playable character having different bits of utility that you can use. I really like that whole concept in any game. I don't even opt to play TFT on mobile. Yeah, I don't really either. Like, I've got a good phone to play it. I think it's just feels way too, like, boxed in. But I really don't play it. I haven't played much of... are we on tier 9 or tier 10? Set 10. I haven't played much of the new set at all. I just really don't like it. The Spike has been lost in a really awkward spot here. Managed to get it though. They have no time. I admire Xeno trying. I think he's just going to get the plant for the money. Because the eco is kind of bad. Tech is owned by Titan Sports Media, which is the biggest sports news outlet in China. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that either. I'll have to put these in, actually, before I forget. So, did I have Tech on here? Did I have Titan Sports Media? And then, what was the other one for DRG? Was it DRG? I can't remember. Trace. It was Trace. Where's Trace on here? Oh, it's a little bit higher. Was it just Trace Media? Easy names to remember, I guess. So this off and 6-6. So there's one more round for DRG, 2 more rounds for Aratim. Don't know what order they're in. I think a lot too complicated to learn this one. I think it's just... I like TFT, like set 9 felt very chill, like vibe-wise, very easy to understand. Whereas this one, like, I think the idea of like having the music and stuff, like the remixes and headliners as a concept is really cool too. But it's just like too much for me. Like it's way for a game that's I see as like very like chill and very low tempo. It's just way it just gives me a headache now I'm playing it. The music, all of the different like character designs. It's also like when you spend so much time learning the game and, you know, like Echo being like a rogue and you'd see him in the Zom kind of builds. And then suddenly he's something else and then he's a tank. And he's a different, like, star rating. Wow, Luke managed to get two of them. Viva manages to save the day again.
那现在 DRG 来到上半场的尾声之后，经济第11个回合经济是比较差的，有一把巨刃。
上一分的混起，导致这一分还是要继续混起。
And how many... That's a good question, actually. How many retakes has Raraton won this series total? So there's one there, two there, three there. A lot on Lotus. 5. So outside of Lotus, they won 5 retakes. They won 2 on time, 4 on elimination there, 5, 6 on elimination, 7 I guess on... No, wait, let's see the team. Here they got a lot of retakes. Maybe it's because like they're not winning retakes because too many people are dying beforehand. Whereas on Lotus, I think they gave them, like, they had a lot of control. They still let the spike get planted, but they were good on retakes there because they were actively playing for retakes. Almost gets him. Yoman's in an awful spot now, though. Oh, Luke. So I think that's what I sort of realized. This is around where the attackers plant. And they win on the retake. 2v2, right? Surely that, yeah, that kill comes in for Xeno. So they plant here and this is, they lose this retake. One under, gets tagged. Just gets wall banged / killed for the smoke. Seven bullets. Let's try. Alright, last round and then I'm up to speed with what was going on. It's pulled the rotate. It was just a KO knife and it's pulled 4 people over there from Raraton. Hunter's Fury over there too. Oh, the recon actually gets him, but Viva still loses that fight. Oh, man. Did he not do that? Oh, I thought he wallbanged him through Boathouse then, but I think he just went stairs. Alright, Stu gets one. These are just really nice post plant positions. But you know that there's one in A main. But unless you actively try and clear him out, there's nothing you can do. He still manages to get one. And then I know Vukashi wins this clutch. No time. Yeah, because I remember seeing that in the highlights. Alright, so that's halftime. This is where I started watching. And then we'll watch the rest of this map and then I'll call it there. Default is pretty much exactly the same from DRG on their defense. Okay, knife used either side. Wonder how worth. I don't know if I like shocked out in that corner. Sometimes you have people playing from it, but not often. Recon dart on A. It actually does ping one. Wait. Where did that recon? Was it just on the ground? It hits the jet back there. So yeah, it must have just been a one bounce, hit the ground kind of thing. Not that much of a fan of Dingwei being on that angle. If you know that there's a jet there, at least it's not going to be a lurk. Yukashi's almost dead. Shugged out for stairs is good, I think. I think the early smoke forces the close shot, right? Yeah, probably. Must be nice being Dingwei. Like, you come into a team for Ascension and you actually win the whole event. I don't know if he was a sub, I don't know if he was, like, brought in from somewhere else, but it's kind of mad. I guess it's unfortunate for Xeno. But I'm also like, did Dingwei do enough, realistically, to confirm himself a space on his team? I don't know if they did. I think between him and Maizy, I definitely preferred Maizy. But it could be like a multitude of reasons why Maizy's no longer on the team and Dingwei is now. Language, roles, Maizy might be picked up from somewhere. Very difficult to tell. Xeno won that pistol, ergo he won the entire series. That was my line of thinking, obviously. And it's just Yihao on his own. That's a nice shocked out on attack. Straight in, Vukashi just gets melted. Alright, Luke gets one, almost gets two. Not the biggest fan from that from Stu, but I guess the money is... the UI is behind. I don't know if they saw him or they were just spraying. I think they must have seen him. I'm a fan of the fact the rare atom are not panicking too much about picking up the spike there. Like, they have gun advantage, they have player advantage, they have loads of time, they don't need to rush. Right. Scene one. Ooh, not too far away. Doesn't really give you that much information. Yihao just faces away, I think, just as that flash comes in and looks back. He was on the front of the box the whole time.
是险些搞了一些事情出来。
出来，
要么是杀人可以，要么是安完包手包也可以。
更多的应该是去先考虑打人。
对，零点球他没有照到。
Just decided to break the high low and swing left side nearly. Yeah, almost worked out, I think, with the flash.
但是还是以拆炮台为主。这一分 DRG 并没有想要在 B 大去拿人数。
但是现在 RA 大部队已经是来到中远的位置 ，A 大虽然
Especially if you can stop some utility being used.
RA 也没有做太过于深入的这个探讨。
这个 B 点的电门一关，我觉得进攻方应该知道，应该知道你 B 点是个弱手。这种自闭电门在早期关掉，就意味着你点里面很空。OK， 找到对面前点的人。 要不要来中甲 B？ 对面已经在回防了，提前回来，因为知道对面现在 B 大是有人在看的，中路现在是一个完全无人看守的情况。
路克很细节，他跳在了这个点重生点的这个小。
Got the killjoy over on A now for Vukashu and DRG.
纠结啊！这一波要总攻了40秒
，Oh, he doesn't have enough money for an alarm bot. I just realized. He just has the 1 nano and then a turret. Get the player in markets. Xenos on a nice angle. He's trying to find a position now to paranoia without hitting his teammate. The pushing CT idea is a good one overall. It's something that like Rare Atom is clearly wanted to do. It's a good thing to try and aim for. Yeah, nice. In timeout for DRG. So this was a real neck and neck game all the way through. Well, DRG started off really good. Rare Atom brought it close, and now these rounds are just back and forths. Got 2 people facing with the turret. This is a really nice anti-eco setup, actually. I like this a lot. But how are you going to move forward? Because clearly DRG are not going to be aggressive on you here, so are you just going to peek these angles? Because it seems that Dingwei is a similar idea. Just sees the killjoy. What's Dingwei's money like? Dingwei has a lot of money, so he can, yeah, use a lot of his utility. Turret's been broken. Nanoswarm shut down. Great knife, because it just stops Dingwei using his recon. Might not even matter. Just too many people to deal with. Might not be expecting Vukashu to be backside 2. Now they know. So they're giving him a spot to play around, which is nice. Great shot. I might have been able to get the second onto Viva there. Okay, fine. Just tried to like waterfall in as much as I possibly could. Yeah, dealt with nicely. Like good anti-eco, I think, from Rare Atom. Clearly, like DRG's like thrifties and their sheriffs are good, so you got to give them a good amount of respect. Right, Lucas the operator now. Hunter's Fury and a null command available. Yeah, I mean, I think I was going to be critical of like Luke just like Spike wasn't planted. You had a bit of time. Like it was just way too high tempo for people to keep up, but it is an eco, so I think just try to keep that chaos going and try to waterfall in as much as you can. It's probably the right approach, as opposed to waiting for them to plant and then going for like a utility-led retake. That's not going to work. The setups are nice. I think if I'm Rare Atom, I think that if I'd call a timeout, I'd say like you probably can do a lot more top mid. Because having that alarm bot there in like mid just sort of allows DRG to shut her up onto a site like this. And like you're running into Vukashu for one. Good fight from Stu. Still has to A. Oh, he doesn't need to ace. He just needs to get 4. And he's 42 HP. Dealt with nicely from DRG though. I was really paying attention to the first couple of kills. Yeah, just Luke peeking when the operator catches him out. I mean, Luke was everywhere. Felt like good movement around the map. Every ultimate is available. Still full buys there for both sides. There is a Bulldog for Dingway. And money for both sides is like, they'd have to eco next. Zeno's done well. Hunter's Fury is great. I think he gets KO'd. Just with the last pulse. Or was it just that he fired it out and that was... Yeah, so he used it earlier. There was that last pulse that hit him, okay. Because people got suppressed. I was like, did the silver? And I don't think he did. Although I might have done. Because people were just in front of him. It was the null command and then the knife used. Hard retake to win now. You have your own lockdown. But you don't have any control for Garden. But they are just beelining for it to ult. But time is like low. And then they have Hunter's Fury to clear it anyway. I was wondering why nobody was like fighting for that space a bit more, but it's literally because they just have ult to deal with it. But whilst he was ulting... Wait, Viva missed? So that's the attacking one. Yeah, he just misses. Where did he put it? Because he pings the spot. So how does he miss? Like, was he knifed or something? Nick wasn't alive, so no. I'm really confused. I don't... Looks like he put it on the same spot. I think he aims more left, maybe. Weird. Really odd. Do we see the replay for it? I mean, it was still really close in the end. Like, Vikash had to pull out a classic to kill him. That's a really odd round. Did he have a shock dart? I don't think he did. Yeah, I miss having a replay too. What I think it might have been is because this spot was pinged. But Vikash was stood here, but he put the ult here. So the Hunter's Fury went across this side, and it was just too high. Because it was like here. Because the lockdown was used, and nobody was there, so like Vukashu just did it a little bit more out in the open. I think Vukashu put it somewhere off enough that it wasn't going to get hit by the ult. But I'm also like a little bit concerned because you can do one that's like kind of out of bounds, where you like do it higher up. Like you could do it on top of the box as well, so maybe he did that. And it just missed. I have no clue.
他知道必须要拿到这个击杀。
他还真抓到了 Martin， 当时在移动当中没有急停的一个 timing。
卡数有点难活，有点难活，有点难活。
民居来找吗？
卡数还活着 ，Zeno 想救卡数能不能？他接住了队友给他的帮助，他打掉2个，他还活着。卡数还在输出，打了3个，
自己只有一把。
Stu up on site is just gonna 1v1 everyone.
我们远远不断的方队员正在接近。
Oh.
这一分，
哇，这两边来回的不完整的枪。
I feel like this is just in the story of Rare Atom's day today. Stu's just doing his best to like bring a round back that really should have been theirs in the first place. I don't think they've lost a huge amount of thrifties, but I think the thrifties that Rare Atom have lost have been so detrimental. Because that could have been 11-10, and your money's like buffed up a little bit. Like your buy here is really awkward. Stu's still dedicating to the attack op. I always get nervous when I see teams attack op, because I feel like it has that overall suggestion of I'm not entering on site because I don't trust that people are going to trade me. Veratama pulled off a perfect the color of money as scheme. What, you mean that they've been so good and then now they can sell other players with a crazy buyout? Maybe. I wonder how much of it potentially could be like Veratama, like, actually we're going to keep the squad and we're going to make Ascension next year. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the players. Like, I think all of the players, regardless of how much money they'd be paid on Rare Atom, would prefer to be in the league next year. Like, I'm sure Rare Atom are paid to play as well, but I imagine there's a lot of orgs that would also pay to play as well. Yeah, it also does depend on contracts ending. Might not be able to make a penny. Oh, man. I feel bad for Stu. Like, Stu's going to be just so, like, down with how it went today, but it's also, like, at the same time, I know that he'll be fine. He's going to get a better salary now. Hopefully. I mean, I hope he was paid well for Rare Atom, to be fair. He's 24 and 15 at the moment. Nice shot from you, man. Actually. The attack op is doing a lot, to be fair. I hate that Martin lost that fight, but I wouldn't say I'm surprised. Don't mug this up, Yihao. I mean, I'd say the majority of Pacific teams would upgrade with having Stu on their roster. Especially if they're English speak. Well, actually, it depends what language they speak on this. I think it's Chinese, but might be English, I don't know. I mean, there's no way that... I can't remember now. There's just no time. Because I remember this round because he does actually like lose the fight, but that's just because time runs out. Like, considering that was an eco, I think, from DRG, again, it's just way too close. There's no flawless rounds, it feels like, for Rare Atom other than on Lotus. There's a lot of questionable decisions there. from both Yihao and Martin. I think it's also like, if you know that you're going up against an eco, like Martin shouldn't be pushing B main alone. Especially slow walking creeping up. Yeah, that's kind of what I think, Sparhawk. But I don't know if he's necessarily the kind of person that's fueled by money. Like, he'll want to be on a team that can like actually push for the best in their region or best in the world. I think I'd just prefer to see this like system stay in place for them. Because what they have, like, what Rare Atom have at the moment works for them. Naturally, it has to change because of the two imports anyway. I think I'd just be the most disappointed to see the Rare Atom squad, at least the core, split up. But I think the core is that I'd keep is just like Viva, Stu, and the coach Val Analysis. Like, I think there's like, you could pick up YU instead of Martin. I think that would be a hell of a pickup. For Yihao, you probably could pick up YH from Attacking Soul. Who was the IGL? Well, it was Zero or Monk. Like, I do genuinely think that minus Yeoman plus Monk on this team would work. I think if you made some like mashup of Attacking Soul and Rare Atom, you've probably got like a top contended team. But the wild part is you're taking pieces of Attacking Soul and HFMI all life. But you could also put Viva on like another role. But you'd want Stu, you'd want Viva, you want an IGL, and then HFMI, and then Life. I mean, to be honest, I don't think you pick up Life. I think you take HFMI. That's a hell of a team, though. That's what I'd be cooking. Quite literally, it would be Stu. It would be HFMI. It'd be Monk as the IGL. It would be Viva. And then it would be YU. Like, oh my god, the team would be absurd. What does that name mean? Which name? YU? He was literally called like something like that, I'm pretty sure. And then he changed it to YU, and he said like Thomas told me like in interviews he said he goes by both, but the casters in China still call him YU. HFMI. Oh, I see. Yeah, I think he was just being a massive troll. But that'd be like the team that you could potentially put together from the two China squads that didn't make it. The only ones that don't really, I don't like Life has his moments, but I think like Stu's better. And YH is alright, but not anything spectacular. Like, I think for playing Viper, like Viva's been better. I trolled now, I'm stuck. I mean, he said like in interviews again that he wants players to say like the full name. Yeah, he wants everybody to say it, all of the full letters. I was a fan of calling him Wi-Fi because his name is like a Wi-Fi password. But HFMI is fine too. And also, yeah, K-Knight is pretty troll. And also YOU. That is literally just spelled you. Like, you are a person. But you say it YOU. Like, that's pretty troll. Seen a lot. I loved that play when I watched it this morning. Like, the flash and the dash timing is just so good. And it's good as well, because if you know that Rare Atom are playing close on Speedway, you can punish that, fight that a bit more. His name should be K Knight because his first name starts with K. Is his last name Knight? Is it actually just his initials? Yay. Yeah, I remember all this. And then the next round, I can't remember if it was close or not. Oh, I think this is just like Vukashu just stalls him. Lil K pretty much, now he's just added on. Casters call him Lil K pretty much. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I think a lot of people were really confused that, like, Knight was like, wasn't he on BLG already? And it's like, no, that's League. LPL. 13-12, DRG. Spoiler alert, they win this round. He was on JDG before. Yeah. Like the league team. Yeah, I mean, I did follow... I don't know any of the players on the LPL teams at all. Other than Shy. The Shy, is it? Stu gets Vukashu. Sorry, it wasn't Vukashu at all. Oh yeah, Nick is the one that gets the multi-kill. And then there's no time for Martin. Great trade from Nick. Gage really boosted the Shy Stonks. Yeah, no doubt. I know he's been a big fan. You don't want to be known as Faker, but the one from Valorant, yeah. People would be very confused. Right, that's pretty much an update on what the hell happened today. In the wrong order, but still. I did want to see what Reddit had to say. I kind of wanted to do this on stream, and then I don't have to do it later. So that's got no comments on it. Oh, is this the stats overall? Plus 18. Yeah, but that was on lower, so that doesn't count. Same clutch. Oh, this was the 1v2. Haven't read any of this. So this is the 145 comments. This is probably the good one. Reddit comments could be pretty good. I kind of want to see what people are saying. He picked ISO, team gets a pick, 5v4, and he loses the domain expansion that would have probably sent them to OT. What's he mean by domain expansion? Like the... Oh? I'm fine, actually. Yeah, people have... Is it just sort of my best? I mean, the ult is not called that. It's called kill contract. But I've never heard the word domain expansion used in anything. Domain expansion is the enemy name. Oh, I see. I hope they can work out keeping Vukashu. I mean, yeah, I think you'd keep that team the same. Maybe make a couple of adjustments. Well, you need to get rid of Xeno, but other than that, I think you probably can keep Dingwei because considering the short time span, he did fantastic. Yeah, this was the thing that, like, I don't hate it, and I don't think they lost because of it, but I think it's crazy decision making to do that. Heartbroken for R8, heads to see a team you've written for fall short, the very last hurdle. It really was like the Apex situation, because it was like Apex and Ascend in the upper bracket final. Like, you'd never seen either of them really play up against each other, so you go into the series, one wins, and you go, okay, they're favorites. You imagine a rematch in the grand final, but they lose to DRG, like Ascend lost to Gentlemates, and it all kind of happens from there. Yeah, I don't really think it was like, yeah, reading this, my instinct was a Rare Atom didn't play badly across a map or across the series. But there were definitely some rounds that were just horrible from them. It's just odd to see teams make big mistakes in individual rounds and have it be punished so much. I wouldn't. Maybe you could grab 0. Apex moment. I like that that's sort of become the way to work on it. That's the biggest upset of Ascension this year. Ooh, do I agree with that? I think Is Gentlemates beating Apex more of a surprise? The problem, like, I didn't know much about Gentlemates before. I think the problem is like, Rare Atom were not only like the top team in Ascension, but they were second in all of China. Like, with other organizations there that made it into partnerships. So that's like Apex losing to Gentlemates, but Apex were like the second best in EMEA, full stop. Like, they were beating all of the other teams apart from Fnatic. Oh, that's a tough one. Alright, looks sloppy quite a few maps this tournament. Yeah, I mean, it's just rough stats to maps. And, like, they managed to pull it back. But there was just so many rounds, it's like, if you had won this cleanly, like on Ascent, like, they should have probably won Ascent with some of the rounds that they had. Yeah, I don't know what's more of an upset, actually. Also, this is a horrible idea. It's already inconsistent enough to say, but the stakes, you don't need to raise the stakes. The stakes are crazy high anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else on here that, like, no. Not many people are talking about it, which is kind of a shame. I mean, 45 comments on the China game is actually kind of great, I'd say, overall. And then we saw this, which was, 460 ACS. Because Viva actually got the highest ACS on his team, and it was third in the server. Like, your man struggled. A good amount of assists, but not getting the kills. Do we have performance like Jules? We don't, because it's no API. Oh, right. So, yeah, that's it. That's China done for the year. What on earth happened for the 13-0? Rare Atom are just good on this map. Like, just good protocols. 2 kills for Nick. It was just... Rare Atom were playing them up really good protocols. They were rotating nicely. They were adjusting nicely, changing stuff up. I do feel that DRG had some space to exploit on C. It just never really did. What do you think of Rare Atom's decision to make DRG's permaban the 5th map? Instead of... Well, they didn't get to choose it, right? Like, Bind was the pick of DRG. So, I think in this instance, they were always going to pick Split first. Lotus behind that, I mean, it worked out naturally, but I think that also is fine. Because it is a real, like, you don't know what DRG have cooked up on this map, so picking Sunset over Lotus would have been a real gamble and a risk. but this was the choice of DRG wanted to play this over. Like, I think both teams were really hesitant to play Sunset. So it would have been... I'm really sad they didn't go to a 5th map because I think it would have been really impressive. But this is just so sad. I think a lot of these as well was just like, this was maybe the round where Stu peeked up short with the operator, just tried to walk up. And then there was a timeout from Rare Atom, which I think just ended up helping DRG more than it helped Rare Atom. I felt like DRG weren't really doing much with their default defensively. They were just kind of keeping it the same. And Rare Atom that time were just like not really thinking about, okay, they just keep putting the camera in showers. And it looks so much better in the round view when you clear that turret camera. You just push it there, break the camera. They never peek off of it. They never use any utility off the camera going off. They never jump through the teleporter. You just break it, commit to A afterwards, or cut noise and go B, or just cut noise and then go A. Like it felt like clearing the utility is like the easiest thing to do on attack. If you're not really sure what to do on your default or how to make the round work, if you know where they're putting their Killjoy or Cypher utility, just clear that and then make a decision. Because most teams will panic and start pushing or over peeking to get information once the utility goes down, especially when there's no plan from DRG to actively play off of that util. I think that's something that went wrong for Rare Atom. That obviously hindsight, we can see it from both perspectives, but I think they would watch that back and see the same thing of like, they're just putting a camera in showers and we're either not clearing it, they get free information, or we do clear it and they do nothing. I think that the team was better than people give them credit. Yeah, I mean, I've heard really good things about 4AM from speaking to players from Rare Atom and also DRG. They both said that like 4AM made some really good moves. Like, look better since they made moves, which is nice. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you very much for everybody that like tuned in, followed. Obviously, thanks to Sleggy for the raid as well. It's good to sort of finish the year with some cool stuff. I don't know when the next watch party / stream will be because obviously it's the end of the year. Maybe we'll do the China tournament if we get permissions. Sue's Live, if I want to do a raid, that's probably a good shout. Might as well. Yeah, thanks very much for everybody for tuning in. It's been a great end to the year to do these China watch parties and like learn more about the scene. I'll probably watch party them a lot next year too, or be on the broadcast if there is one. Fingers crossed, like touch wood. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Kind of crazy going into the new year, not really being sure what's going on. But yeah, thanks very much for everybody for tuning in. I'll send you... Oh, is it just double check? Yeah, okay. So I'll do that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next year. Have a good new year. Stay safe. All that kind of stuff. That's not worked. Why does that not work? Hello? Why can I not host? Let me do it this way. There we go. All right, I'll send you that way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all when I see you. Have a good new year. And yeah, round of number 1, I guess. See you. Bye.
Let me cover you door. Cover what door?